Chapter 228. The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator, to Battle. _1. To be caught by the family head, that's really. As Lu Changxing walked back, he thought about how he had just been held by Lu Miaohuan when Lu Yuanding appeared, and he couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. However, he didn't feel embarrassed at all. Nowadays, the second Miss Temperament has also improved somewhat. Lu Changxing was also somewhat confident that he could handle the second Mississippi. In such a situation, he could also consider taking the second Miss back to his family. So, being seen was just being seen. He would just treat it as giving his future father-in-law some mental preparation in advance. Speaking of which, should I let the family head unintentionally see me with the eldest Miss someday, to give him a bit of mental preparation? Lu Changxing couldn't help but think to himself. But as soon as the thought arose, he felt it was better to put it on hold for now. Otherwise, he was really afraid that Lu Yuanding would chop him up with a sword. After all, no father could stand it if one man snatched away both daughters he had raised. But there's still a long way to go. Thinking of the eldest Miss' current situation, Lu Changxing shook his head. It seemed that taking both sisters back to his family wouldn't be so simple. There's a saying, let things flow naturally when the boat reaches the pier, so Lu Changxing didn't think much about it and went home. In the following days, Lu Changxing still spent his days cultivating, making talismans, and spending time with his wives and concubines. In his spare time, he also used his skills in puppetry to create simple wooden oxen and horses, mechanical men, and mechanical beasts as toys for the children. This was also a way to let people know that he had dabbled into some puppetry skills. Seeing the children's love for the toys made with puppetry, Lu Changxing suddenly thought of a saying. Interest is the best teacher for a child. He then thought he could perhaps stimulate the children's interest in puppetry through this approach. If the children had some talent in puppetry, they could then be trained towards becoming puppet masters. Although puppetry wasn't as esteemed as other skills like alchemy, formation, equipment, and talisman making, it was nevertheless considered a decent skill. And for children without a spiritual root, having some knowledge in puppetry, when venturing into the mortal world, would certainly be a useful skill. They could create things like wooden oxen and horses, wooden birds, mechanical beasts, armillary spheres, earthquake instruments, among other mechanisms. Straight away, whenever Lu Changxing had free time, he would work with the children to create some simple mechanical toys. And he would explain some knowledge related to puppetry. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month passed. During these times, Lu family disciples continually returned to Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changxing heard from Lu Miaoyun that quite a few Lu family disciples had been attacked and killed on their way back. Moreover, due to the summoning of the family's disciples, many of the Lu family's territories had been encroached upon by the Chen family. Like the spirit stone mine that was contested between the Lu family and the Chen family, it was now under the control of the Chen family. During this period, some of the Lu family's guest elders also chose to leave the family. Lu Changxing saw all this happen and knew it was inevitable. After all, to most people in the current struggle between the Lu family and the Chen family, it was clear that the Chen family had the upper hand. Once the Lu family ancestor died, the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain would essentially be extinct in name and in reality. As an ordinary guest elder, it was natural not to want to share in the family's resources and rise or fall with the Lu family. If he wasn't so deeply tied to the Lu family with so many wives and children, even Lu Changxing would choose to leave. But Lu Changxing always felt that this wave of summoning all the clan members back wasn't so simple. Otherwise, he really couldn't understand what was the point of gathering all the clan members. It certainly wasn't just to defend Qingzhou Mountain. Or to fight a decisive battle with the Chen family, right? This kind of act was completely against the logic of the cultivation world. There's a saying, if you preserve the people but lose the land, both will eventually be lost. If you preserve the land but lose the people, both will eventually be preserved. For a cultivation family like the Lu family, what should be done at this time is to preserve their strength. Wait for a new foundation establishment great cultivator to emerge. Not to defend Qingzhou Mountain or struggle for immediate benefits, potentially sacrificing the entire family. Before he knew it, 3 months had passed. Because of the current situation of the Lu family, and the need to consider fleeing with his wives and children at any moment, Lu Changxing did not let his wives and maids conceive during these times. After all, it would be quite troublesome if the Lu family crisis happened just as a child was being born, or if his wives were all pregnant at that time. Thinking that the situation of the Lu family would last for some time, Lu Changxing decided to postpone having more children for a while. And he let his wives and maids have a good rest. The absence of new births for such a long time made Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenjin, and the other wives feel that something wasn't right, and they asked Lu Changxing what was going on. If not for the fact that Lu Changxing was still vigorous and passionate every night, it would be difficult for him to explain. On this day, Lu Bo came to Lu Changxing's residence. He said that the family head had summoned all Lu family disciples to gather at the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain. All Lu family disciples gathering? Lu Bo, has something happened? Lu Changxing asked. He had been in Qingzhou Mountain for 10 years now. He had never encountered such an event. He couldn't help but speculate whether the Lu family was preparing for a major battle with the Chen family or planning a mass relocation away from Qingzhou Mountain. I'm not sure about the details. I'm just relaying the message. You'll know once you get there, Lu Bo said. All right. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing didn't ask any further questions. He walked towards the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Miaohuan. Upon arrival at the central plaza, Lu Changxing saw the many Lu family disciples and guest elders gathered there. Chapter 229. The New Foundation Building Great Cultivator, to Battle. This was the first time he had seen so many people at Qingzhou Mountain. After all, he usually led a reclusive life and barely went out. Or it could be said that most cultivators did not like to venture outside. People kept arriving one after another. After about a quarter of an hour, nearly everyone had arrived. In the plaza, many people were whispering amongst themselves, speculating about why the family had summoned everyone here. But none knew what the matter was. It was at this time. Two surging and majestic auras of spiritual pressure burst forth. Everyone looked up. They immediately saw an elder with the appearance of a young boy despite his white hair, wearing a Qingzhou robe and with a dignified face, flying through the air. Next to this elder, there was a scholarly-looking middle-aged man dressed in a blue robe, about 40 years old. To everyone's surprise, this middle-aged man, just like the Lu family ancestor, was exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. And he was also flying through the air. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. At this moment, everyone shouted in unison, bowing in salute. Flying through the air? Has the Lu family brought forth a new foundation building great cultivator? Seeing this scene, Lu Changxing was also astonished and bowed in salute. Flying through the air was something only achievable after breaking through to foundation establishment. It was also a symbol and characteristic of a foundation building great cultivator. This scholarly man who was flying next to the Lu family ancestor was indicating that he was a foundation-building great cultivator. Silence. The Lu family ancestor spoke indifferently, quieting the clamor in the plaza. Then, he swept his gaze over everyone and said, "Today, I have an announcement to make. As you all can see, Yuan Zhong has broken through to foundation establishment." The aged voice of the Lu family ancestor was not loud, but it clearly reached everyone's ears. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. Upon hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor, confirming that Lu Yuanzhong had become a foundation-building great cultivator, all the Lu family disciples were overcome with excitement and fervor. The Lu family members, who had felt a bit repressed during this period, suddenly swept away all traces of gloom. With their emotions surging like a tidal wave, they shouted together, "Lu Yuanzhong, the Lu family has actually brought forth a new foundation-building great cultivator." Lu Changxing, hearing these words, was also thrilled inside. After all, the emergence of a new foundation-building great cultivator in the Lu family meant that the crisis at Qingzhou Mountain would be resolved. He no longer needed to worry about the need to flee with his wives and children. He could continue to live in Qingzhou Mountain peacefully and steadily. Because, unless it was absolutely necessary, Lu Changsheng really did not want to reveal his true strength. In the eyes of others, he was only a 9th-grade spiritual root. Exposing too much strength would easily draw attention and make him a target. It was bound to bring about many unnecessary troubles. By the way, the family head, the second elder and the others, could they have already known about this ancestor Yuanzhong of the Lu family? Lu Changsheng looked at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong on the high platform and suddenly thought to himself. He recalled Lu Yuanding and the second elder's reassurances that the Lu family had a hidden depth. Moreover, Lu Changxing knew that breaking through to the foundation establishment stage would provoke the spirit energy of heaven and earth, causing a significant disturbance. In those 3 months, he had always been in Qingzhou, and he hadn't sensed any signs of someone breaking through to foundation establishment. This indicated that ancestor Yuanzhong might not have achieved his breakthrough in this period. Of course, it was also possible that the Lu family had used some means to conceal the signs and phenomena of the breakthrough. The Chen family has bullied us Lu family too far. Today, with my achievement of foundation establishment, is also the day for our Lu family to counterattack. The ancestor has already formed an alliance with 100 Birds Lake by family and intends to march to Red Leaf Valley today to destroy the Chen family, eradicating Red Leaf Valley Chen family from the cultivation world. At this moment, Lu Yuanzhong, the newly promoted foundation establishment ancestor of the Lu family, looked at everyone and declared with a resonant voice. The simple words set the blood of all Lu family disciples boiling. For these past few months, or even years, every member of the Lu family had been harboring a sense of frustration. Their hatred for the Red Leaf Valley Qin family had accumulated for over a decade. Now that the Lu family had given birth to their second foundation-building great cultivator and was preparing to counterattack the Chen family, how could they not be excited and moved? They felt as if they were invigorated with renewed energy, their hearts tumultuous with excitement. They could hardly wait to follow the two ancestors and make their move against the Chen family. So urgent? It seems that ancestor Yuanzhong broke through to foundation establishment a long time ago, but kept it a secret, consolidating his cultivation realm or waiting for the right moment. No wonder the family head has been urging me to make more talismans all this past year. During this period, the family has also been covertly acquiring talismans, elixir medicines, puppets, and other treasures. It appears it was all in preparation for this battle. Lu Changxing, hearing Lu Yuanzhong's words, had a sudden realization. He finally understood why the Lu family had called all their family disciples back. It was all in preparation for this moment. The Chen family wanted to devour and take over the Lu family. But similarly, the Lu family also wanted to take down the Chen family and advance further. With the Lu family ancestors' grand birthday approaching, it seemed that they wanted to use this opportunity to give their last bit of strength to the Lu family. With 2 foundation-building great cultivators, allied with 100 Birds Lake by family, that makes 3 foundation-building great cultivators. True, although the Chen family has only 1 foundation establishment ancestor, Red Leaf Valley is also protected by a formation. If there were only 2 foundation-building great cultivators, it still might not be enough to break through. And even if the Lu family did conquer the Chen family, there would be significant casualties. Relying solely on the Lu family would make it difficult to take over the spirit vein of Red Leaf Valley, hence why they brought in the 100 Birds Lake by family who has had good relations with the Lu family for generations. With the addition of the by family ancestor, with 3 foundation-building great cultivators, this battle should be nearly certain. Even if the Chen family seeks reinforcements from Wugong Ridge Zheng family, the Zheng family would not be able to assist in time. Chapter 230. The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator, to Battle. Lu Changsheng pondered in his heart. The Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain had been on good terms for generations with the Bai family of White Bird Lake. As for the Chen family of Red Leaf Valley, they also maintained friendly relations with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge. But now, if the Lu family and the Bai family, with their 3 foundation establishment great cultivators, were to strike the Chen family with the force of thunder, it was improbable that the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge could come to the rescue so quickly. After Lu Yuanzhong finished speaking, Lu Yuanding and a group of Lu family elders and clan seniors appeared. They summoned all the Lu family disciples who were at the late stage of qi refinement or above. Following the 2 ancestors, they set out to strike at the Chen family. There would be rewards based on merit afterward. And every person who registered was to be issued talismans, elixir medicines, magic artifacts, and treasures. Changsheng, Miaoyun, follow your grandmother over later, said the 4th elder as he came over with 2 packets containing talismans, elixir medicines, and magic artifacts for Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun, and spoke out. This battle was a general mobilization of the entire Lu family. All Lu family disciples above the middle stage of qi refinement had to take part. Consequently, Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun were no exception. For the Lu family, this battle was deemed a sure-win situation. There was no danger anticipated. Having all the family disciples participate was also an opportunity to gain experience, expand horizons, and strengthen their sense of belonging to the family. Yes, grandmother, Lu Changsheng replied. He had wondered if he could avoid going, just wait at the Lu family for the good news. But unexpectedly, the 4th elder came and involved both him and Lu Miaoyun. He understood that such a full family mobilization was unavoidable. To not participate would be akin to desertion. So he accepted the call, went along to see what a battle at the level of foundation establishment great cultivators looked like. After all, he had yet to witness the power of a foundation establishment great cultivator. This would give him a chance to gauge the strength of foundation establishment cultivators, so he would know what to expect when facing one in the future. Good, just follow your grandmother later. There won't be any danger, said the 4th elder in a gentle and kindly tone. All right, grandmother, Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun nodded in agreement. At that moment, Lu Changsheng also noticed Lu Yuanding instructing his 2 daughters about something. Apparently, they were also going to participate. No one could be exempted. Half a day later, the Lu family gathered all the disciples who were going to battle. Besides the 2 foundation establishment ancestors, there were a total of 4 cultivators at the 9th level energy refinement, 13 at the energy refinement late stage, and more than 50 at the middle stage. Those at the initial stage of qi refinement were not allowed to join in. Even though this battle was expected to be an easy victory, the Lu family would not bring along cultivators at the initial stage of qi refinement, since such strength would not only be of little use but might also drag down the others. Changsheng Miaoyun called the 4th elder. He released a flying boat, calling Lu Changsheng and Lu Miaoyun aboard, along with a few other Lu family disciples, filling up the boat. Depart for battle, shouted the Lu family ancestor after the assembly was complete, leading the way with Lu Yuanzhong on flying swords. 5 small flying boats followed, carrying a legion of Lu family disciples. Some Lu family elders and guest elders rode on flying mounts on both sides of the boats. They left Qingzhou Mountain in a mighty procession, heading towards the Chen family of Red Leaf Valley. Meanwhile, Qingzhou Mountain was left with only a few clan seniors who activated the mountain protection array, guarding the mountain, to prevent anyone from taking advantage of their absence. Simultaneously, in Red Leaf Valley, a slender youth was cultivating bees and insects, when suddenly he felt somewhat unsettled in his mind and spirit. It's uncertain how many years the Lu family ancestor has left. Otherwise, if this delay continues, the effect of the Lockhart Gu will become increasingly significant on me, murmured Meng Xiaochan to herself. Because of the Lockhart Gu, she could not directly kill Lu Changsheng. Upon hearing that the Lu family ancestor did not have many years left and learning of the enmity between the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain and the Chen family of Red Leaf Valley, she came up with a plan and went to Red Leaf Valley to become a cultivator of the Chen family, hoping to use the might of the Chen family to annihilate the Lu family. Then she would find a way to have Ancestor Chen indirectly kill Lu Changsheng and retrieve the Lockhart Gu. P.S. My condition is really not good after staying up late, so I need to rest a bit. Chapter 231. No Lu Lang. 1 Qingju Mountain wasn't very far from Red Leaf Valley. The journey was just over 1,000 li. It was precisely because of their proximity that both families often fought over resources around their clan territories, leading to conflicts. An incident involving a spirit stone mine over 10 years ago had become the flashpoint for all these conflicts. It had led both families into an all-out conflict, creating an irreconcilable blood feud. After the Lu family's main forces had traveled several hundred li, Lu Changsheng saw a formidable and impressive army heading in their direction. Leading this army was an elderly man with an old face and a tall figure, wearing a robe embroidered with flying birds. He stood with his hands behind his back, his black bird-embroidered robe fluttering in the wind, riding atop a black hawk with a formidable presence. Following him were 3 flying boats and a group of cultivators riding spirit birds. Brother Lu, Taoist Yuanzhong. The old man greeted the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong with a clasped fist. Brother Bai. Taoist Bai. The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong also returned the gesture to the Bai family ancestor. After a brief exchange, they led their respective troops and hastened towards Red Leaf Valley. It was clear they had planned to meet here. Is this the 100 Birds Lake Bai family and the Bai family ancestor? Lu Changsheng looked towards the large troop from the Bai family traveling with them. About 60 people in total. Aside from the Bai family ancestor, who was a foundation-building great cultivator, the strength and the number of the energy-refining cultivators seemed roughly equal to those of the Lu family. However, Lu Changxing knew that excluding Lu Yuanzhong, who had just recently achieved foundation establishment, the overall strength of the Bai family was slightly stronger than the Lu families. It seemed the Bai family hadn't, like the Lu family, completely emptied out their clan's forces to commit to this battle. 100 Birds Lake is teeming with spirit fish and other aquatic products, attracted by many spirit birds that come to the lake to hunt. Thus, Bai family cultivators are mostly adept in the art of beast taming, not just fishing but also capturing and domesticating spirit birds to earn spirit stones. Lu Changxing once again observed the spirit birds ridden by the Bai family troops. They were noticeably quite good. Not just typical transport spirit birds like iron feather eagles. They ought to possess some combat capabilities. The majestic black hawk beneath the feet of the Bai family ancestor, for instance, was probably a peak first-grade demon beast. When we arrive at Red Leaf Valley, you don't need to disembark from the flying boat. Just follow my instructions, said the 4th elder as they neared Red Leaf Valley. He began to instruct those on the flying boat, including Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyan, on what to do upon arrival. The first step was to form up. Then, using talismans and attack formations issued by the family, they would begin breaking through the formation. Once the great formation was breached, they would follow the 4th elder in the assault. Clearly, the Lu family and the Bai family had a detailed plan prepared for this battle. Yes, Grandma. Yes, 4th elder. The people on the flying boat nodded and replied. 2 hours later, everyone, get ready, we're approaching Red Leaf Valley now. Lu Yuanzhong announced, his booming voice reaching everyone's ears. The eager Lu family young disciples, stirred upon hearing this, braced themselves and focused attentively. So this is Red Leaf Valley? Lu Changxing gazed forward, immediately spotting a place shrouded and obscured by formations, hazy to the point where only a vast expanse of crimson could be seen. This was his first visit to Red Leaf Valley. He knew that, like Qingju Mountain, Red Leaf Valley was known for a particular type of red leaf tree. Meanwhile, within Red Leaf Valley, not good, enemy attack. The Chen family scouts stationed for patrol, seeing the flying boats and cultivators approaching from afar in the sky toward Red Leaf Valley, instantly changed their expressions, realizing something was amiss. They urgently relayed a message to their clan, signaling an enemy assault. At the same time, they activated the Great Formation's defenses at full strength. The large forces of the Lu family and the Bai family arrived around Red Leaf Valley and began to fan out systematically. They surrounded Red Leaf Valley from various directions. 2 array masters proficient in formations then took out their instruments, beginning to set up formations around the perimeter of Red Leaf Valley. One was a formation to prevent the Qin family cultivators from escaping. The other was to break through the Chen family's second-rank Great Formation. Everyone, get ready, begin breaking the formation. The Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor didn't bother with pomp and ceremony. With a simple raise of their hands, they ordered everyone to start breaking the formation. The next moment, boom boom boom, boom boom boom, boom boom boom. All Lu family and Bai family cultivators pulled out talismans, cast spells, and launched bold spiritual light attacks, slamming into the second-rank Great Formation of Red Leaf Valley. The formation's shield rippled and thundered in response. Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun, along with the fourth elder, joined in the assault from the southeast side of Red Leaf Valley, activating their talismans to bombard the Great Formation. It seems that war is always a drain on resources, no matter where. Lu Changxing couldn't help thinking to himself as he watched the unfolding scene. Even with 3 Foundation establishment great cultivators from the Lu and Bai families, breaking through the Chen family's second-rank Great Formation was not going to be easy. They had no choice but to force their way through. And such an assault was, frankly, just burning money. Each wave of attacks cost hundreds of spirit stones. To break through the Chen family's second-rank Great Formation would likely require tens of thousands of spirit stones. In front of Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor looked towards the Great Formation of Red Leaf Valley and transmitted a message to Lu Yuanzhong, who was beside him. Yuanzhong, when the Great Formation breaks, you stay back and press the attack, try not to get involved. Otherwise, in desperation, old Ghost Qin might decide to target you for a suicidal struggle. I, the ancestor, don't have much longer to live, so I have no worries. It's a good opportunity to exterminate him and remove future troubles, said the Lu family ancestor in a grave tone. Although they had 3 Foundation establishment great cultivators on their side, facing a single ancestor Qin, success seemed almost certain. But there was always the chance that Ancestor Chen had some tricks up his sleeve. Chapter 232, No Lu Lang. In a desperate struggle like a cornered beast, they staked everything in a fight to the death, hoping to take down Lu Yuanzhong and plunge his Lu family into crisis. After all, the Lu family ancestors' time was almost up. For the sake of Lu Yuanzhong's Foundation establishment in this battle, the Lu family had expended a great deal. They no longer had the ability to cultivate a second Foundation establishment cultivator. Therefore, Lu Yuanzhong absolutely could not have any mishaps. Ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong was visibly moved. He knew in his heart that the ancestor had already resolved to face death in this battle. He was prepared to gamble with his life to kill Ancestor Qin. Otherwise, they couldn't possibly have convinced the Bai family ancestor to come and join this battle with so many people. Because once a family war like this began, it was essential to slay Ancestor Qin, this Foundation establishment cultivator. If not, letting Ancestor Qin, a Foundation-building great cultivator, escape would result in endless troubles for both the Qin and Bai families. Lu Old Ghost, Bai Old Ghost, do you really want to bring ruin to both our families? As the Great Formation's spiritual light dimmed in Red Leaf Valley, a streak of light emerged, exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. It was Ancestor Qin. He quickly took command of the second-rank Great Formation at Qingzhou Mountain. The once dimming light, under the siege, now burst forth, shaping like an upside-down crystal bowl, indestructible. The fish may die, but the net may not break, the Lu family ancestor said with an indifferent expression. Then he shouted loudly, "Talisman to break the ban, break the formation." At his command, immediately, the cultivators of the Lu family and Bai family in the late stage of energy refinement each sacrificed a first-grade talisman towards the weakest part of the formation. The giant bowl that had just burst into light, looking like an upside-down crystal, abruptly became less luminous. Lu family's Lu Yuanzhong, you've actually broken through to Foundation establishment. At this moment, Ancestor Qin saw Lu Yuanzhong standing next to the Lu family ancestor, his eyes narrowed sharply. The Qin family and Lu family were mortal enemies, so he naturally knew about the Lu family. He was aware of who had the potential to break through to Foundation establishment. He recognized Lu Yuanzhong at a glance and saw that he had achieved foundation establishment. Lu, old ghost, I didn't expect that before your death, your Lu family would actually produce a foundation establishment great cultivator. Ancestor Qin looked at the Lu family ancestor with a sullen face and spoke. He had thought that in a few more years, the Lu family ancestor would die. Unexpectedly, at this crucial moment, the Lu family had a new foundation establishment great cultivator. He also understood that the Lu and Bai families came fully prepared, clearly intending to destroy his Qin family today. If the formation was breached, not only would the Qin family be doomed, facing the encirclement of 3 foundation establishment cultivators, he would hardly escape calamity. Old Ghost Qin, do you really believe my Qin family is so easily bullied? Ancestor Qin let out a cold laugh, his expression extremely calm. He immediately transmitted a message. Meng friend, please assist. In a short while, a streak of light flew through the sky, transforming into a skinny young man. Foundation establishment great cultivator. How is this possible? How did the Qin family also have a second foundation establishment cultivator? No, this person isn't from the Qin family. Even though the young man did not emit the pressure of foundation establishment, the Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong could tell at a glance that he was a foundation establishment cultivator. All their complexions changed instantly. They dared to come to Red Leaf Valley for this battle, relying on the strength of 3 foundation establishment cultivators against the only one from the Qin family. With a 3-to-1 advantage, victory seemed certain for them. However, if it was 3 against 2, slaying Ancestor Chen would become very difficult. Moreover, in this battle, they had to make a quick decision. To take down Red Leaf Valley with the swiftness of a thunderbolt. Otherwise, once the Wugong Ridge family received the Qin family's call for help and hurried over, they would have no hope of capturing Red Leaf Valley. Ancestor. Lu brother, do we fight or retreat? Lu Yuanzhong and the Bai family ancestor turned to the Lu family ancestor, inquiring about his plan. The 3 had not anticipated that the Qin family would have a second foundation establishment great cultivator. For this trip to Red Leaf Valley, the Lu and Bai families had distributed resources to all their disciples, all of which were pure spirit stones. If they failed to capture Red Leaf Valley, it would mean a massive loss for both families. And now, choosing to retreat would greatly demoralize their families. The Lu family ancestor did not speak. His expression was extremely grim. He had not anticipated this situation. His life was nearly over, without much time left. Once he passed away, the Lu family would be left with only Lu Yuanzhong, a great cultivator who had just broken through to foundation establishment. At that point, the Lu family would struggle mightily against the Qin family, and the Qin family might even join forces with the Wugong Ridge family to attack their Qingzhou Mountain. Fellow Taoist, you shouldn't be from the Qin family, right? This matter is a dispute between my Lu family and the Qin family. As long as you leave and do not join this battle, my Lu family is willing to offer a handsome reward. Or if you have any demands, you can state them, the Lu family ancestor said courteously to Meng Xiaochan as he made a polite gesture with his hands. He had noticed that the other party was not from the Qin family. He hoped that they would leave and not get involved in this battle. Meng friend, I have already sent a message to the Wugong Ridge family. As soon as Ancestor Zheng arrives, the crisis will be resolved, and my Qin family will not let you take action in vain. There will be a generous reward. Ancestor Qin also hurriedly spoke to Meng Xiaochan. Meng Xiaochan, having come over due to an old grudge with the Lu family, wanted to join the Qin family in destroying the Lu family for revenge and to gain a share of the spoils. But now, with 3 foundation establishment cultivators in front of him, he dared not bet that Meng Xiaochan would leave. Therefore, to get the help of Meng Xiaochan, a foundation establishment cultivator, he naturally had to pay a price. Meng Xiaochan did not speak, because at this moment, she finally understood the source of her previous unease. Chapter 233, No Lu Lang. Lockhart Gu. After her breakthrough to foundation establishment, she could barely suppress the influence of the Lockhart Gu. But at this moment, her heart couldn't help but palpitate as affection began to permeate. Her divine sense involuntarily looked towards the southeast direction of Red Leaf Valley. She saw a handsome and upright young man on a flying boat in the distance. Kill him, he must be killed. Upon seeing Lu Changxing, the effect of the suppressed Lockhart Gu burst forth like a tide, instilling a sense of fear and dread in Meng Xiaoquan's heart. The only thought in her mind was to kill Lu Changxing quickly and retrieve the Lockhart Gu. Patriarch Qin, I can help you, but I need you to help me kill a cultivator from the Lu family right now, she said suddenly, clutching her chest and suppressing the agony brought on by the Lockhart Gu with a grave tone. Kill whom? Ancestor Qin directly inquired. I have taken an oath not to harm him, so as long as Patriarch Qin is willing to make a move, I am willing to help your Qin family through this calamity. He is on the flying boat in the southeast direction. Meng Xiaoquan said through clenched teeth, her face contorted with pain and her voice strained. She took out a jade slip and handed it to Ancestor Qin. It was a portrayal of Lu Changxing. Ancestor Qin saw Meng Xiaoquan's painful expression and couldn't help but be surprised by her condition. He believed half of what Meng Xiaoquan said. He surmised that she must be under some oath or curse. He internally remarked how overbearing the oath must be. To cause a foundation-building great cultivator such pain simply for harboring malice toward someone. However, in the cultivation world, there are all sorts of strange and bizarre methods. For example, some master-servant pacts that would cause the servant to be like this, unable to break free. Once they harbor malice, they would suffer from the backlash of the pact, leading to unbearable pain. Fine, Qin will take on this task. Old Ghost Qin immediately agreed. At this moment, he also had no choice but to agree. Otherwise, if Meng Xiaoquan left, Red Leaf Valley would be in danger. Moreover, seeing Meng Xiaoquan in such a state, he also knew. If Lu Changxing did not die and the great battle commenced, it might even affect the performance of his own strength as a foundation establishment adherent. Lu Old Ghost, give up. This Meng Daoist friend is a cultivator under my Qin family, she will not leave. I have already sent a message to Daoist Zheng, it's still not too late for you to leave now. Immediately after, Ancestor Qin looked towards the Lu family ancestor and said coldly, continue breaking the formation. Upon hearing this, the Lu family ancestor ground his teeth and responded. For him, at this moment, the situation was like an arrow on the bowstring, impossible not to launch. Facing these circumstances, the Lu family also had no option to retreat. Brother Bai, don't worry, when the time comes, I will use a secret technique. Even if I cannot fight off Old Ghost Qin, I will make sure he suffers a severe blow and lead to a short life. The Lu family ancestor said to the Bai family ancestor with a heavy voice. Compared to the Lu family, the Bai family situation was somewhat better, and they could still retreat. So he had to continue fighting and ensure the Bai family ancestor was on board. Alright, since Brother Lu says so, I will continue to fight. Upon hearing this, the Bai family ancestor nodded in agreement. He also did not wish for the Qin family to become too powerful. He hoped that before the Lu family ancestor died, he could take the Qin family ancestor with him. Suddenly, the three foundation establishment cultivators exchanged glances and began to act, attacking the formation ahead to accelerate the breach in the Great Formation. Everyone form up. Ancestor Qin shouted loudly. He prompted the Qin family clansmen to operate their energy simultaneously, melding their qi into the formation to counter the attacks. But the Lu and Bai families came to this battle prepared and had made comprehensive arrangements. They not only distributed plenty of talismans for their clansmen to launch attacks with. They had also prepared many formation-breaking talismans, continuously weakening and lifting the restrictions of the formation. Furthermore, at this time, the array masters of the Lu and Bai families were also affecting the Red Leaf Valley's second-rank Great Formation with external formations. This won't do, at this rate, it will be difficult to hold out until Daoist Zheng arrives, Ancestor Qin knew. The current situation made it hard to rely on the formation to last until the arrival of Bai family Ancestor Zheng. Moreover, if this stalemate continued, his and his clan's people's mana would be continually drained by the formation. By the time the formation was breached, he would be weakened and unable to avoid a disaster. Meng Daoist friend, I shall fulfill the agreement right now. Ancestor Qin made a decisive call. Planning to give up the Great Formation's defense, relying on himself and Meng Xiaochan to hold out until the Zheng family's reinforcements arrived. As his words fell, he took charge of the formation, causing a huge, glass-like hammer to appear above the second-rank Great Formation like a crystalline bowl, and smashed it heavily towards a flying boat in the southeast. Huh? What does old Ghost Qin think he's doing? Does he actually want to break through the defense and escape? No good, it's in the direction of the fourth elder. The Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong, upon seeing this scene, were all shocked. They did not expect Ancestor Qin to counterattack at this moment. Believing that he intended to tear through their defensive formation to flee, they hurriedly flew towards the southeast direction. Not good. In the southeast, aboard the flying boat, the fourth elder was commanding everyone to break the formation. Seeing Ancestor Qin suddenly take control of the formation and launch an offensive against them, her complexion drastically changed. With a slap on her storage bag, she activated a stack of first-rank supreme talismans for protection. All of them turned into layers of golden light, enveloping everyone. She also sacrificed a blue treasure bead that soared into the sky, bursting forth with dazzling light, in an attempt to block the towering hammer. Lu Changxing witnessed this scene, his own complexion changing. He never expected that in the midst of an advantageous battle, the Chen family would begin to counterattack, and it was aimed right at his side. He could clearly feel the terror of this strike. This was no longer a mere attack from an average Foundation establishment great cultivator. With the first-rank talismans of the fourth elder, it would likely be very difficult to defend. At this moment, Lu Changxing could no longer afford to hide his capabilities. He took out the only second-rank middle-grade defense talisman he had on him and immediately activated it. In the blink of an eye, a dense, golden divine light burst out from the talisman, forming a golden barrier that enveloped the entire flying boat, giving off an indestructible aura. Is that a second-rank talisman? The fourth elder, seeing the talisman Lu Changxing used, was shocked, recognizing it as a second-rank talisman. She did not expect Lu Changxing to possess a talisman of such rank. Without any time to ponder, bang! The giant hammer from the heavens had already smashed down hard. It directly crushed the blue treasure bead that the fourth elder had sacrificed into powder, causing the fourth elder's complexion to turn pale, and she let out a muffled groan. Bang, bang, bang. The hammer kept falling, causing the defenses formed by the fourth elder's several life-saving talismans to rapidly shatter within a few breaths. Only Lu Changsheng's second-rank middle-grade talisman managed to slightly hold up for a moment. In that instant, Lu Changxing activated another second-rank lower-grade talisman, which formed another layer of golden light barrier. The fourth elder, with no time to be surprised or to think, drew several more talismans from her storage bag, activated them, and formed additional defenses. Ancestor Qin, seeing this scene, was also somewhat surprised. He had thought that one strike would easily kill everyone on the flying boat. Yet, these people actually had so many talismans, and even ones as protective as second-rank talismans. Kill! Ancestor Qin's expression turned ferocious. He continued to draw power from the formation, seeking to annihilate Lu Changxing and the others. However, at this moment, Lu Yuanzhong and the Lu family ancestor also arrived. Seeing the fourth elder and Lu Changxing struggling to resist, they immediately brought out their spiritual artifacts and cast spells to block the formation hammer. Meanwhile, Meng Xiaochan inside the Great Formation watched this unfold. Seeing Ancestor Qin controlling the formation to attack Lu Changxing, she felt not the slightest pleasure. Clutching her chest tightly, she was in extreme agony, gasping for breath, with heartache as if being cut by knives, and tears starting to flow from the corners of her eyes. Quick, quick! She could feel the influence of the Lockhart goo and the affection in her heart causing her to gradually lose her sanity. The last bit of reason in her mind urged her to implore Ancestor Qin to quickly kill Lu Changxing. But in the next instant, under the influence of the Lockhart goo and the affections spreading through her heart, she finally could no longer maintain her clear consciousness. No, Lu Lang. Meng Xiaochan suddenly looked up, crying out loudly, her tearful eyes gazing toward Ancestor Chen as he moved against Lu Changxing, feeling a surge of murderous intent fill her heart. All of a sudden, she soared into the sky, charging at Ancestor Chen, who was controlling the formation. Chapter 234. Is Lu Lang Lu Changxing? _1. What's going on? Why is Preceptor Meng attacking the Ancestor? Ancestor, be careful. Inside Red Leaf Valley, as the Chen family cultivators were channeling their energy to fortify the Great Formation, they were shocked to see Meng Xiaochan suddenly soar into the sky with purple flames appearing in her hands, launching an attack on Ancestor Chen. Not only them. Outside Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong, and others who were breaking the formation were also startled by this scene. They were utterly confused. They couldn't understand the situation with this Chen family preceptor. Why she suddenly made a move against Ancestor Chen. But they saw Meng Xiaochan conjure a cluster of purple flames between her hands. Then, with a clap of her hands, a purple fire serpent formed, radiating strong mana fluctuations as it charged at Ancestor Chen. Preceptor Meng, what are you doing? Ancestor Chen also sensed something was amiss, quickly turned around, and exclaimed in alarm upon seeing the approaching fire serpent. He hastily took out an ice-blue talisman and activated it. In an instant, a horrifying cold wind swept out, seemingly freezing heaven and earth, creating multiple ice walls in front of him to block the fire serpent. The fire serpent roared, rapidly melting the ice walls. Dare to hurt Lu Lang die? Meng Xiaochan, her eyes filled with killing intent, looked at Ancestor Chen and shouted fiercely. She unleashed a set of flying daggers, striking out swiftly. At the same time, she slapped her spiritual beast bag, and a swarm of colorful bugs of various sizes buzzed out, charging directly at Ancestor Chen. Lu Lang? Who is this Lu Lang? Could it be someone from the Lu family? Is Preceptor Meng possibly the Lu family's backup plan? The Lu family really knows how to endure, to have planted a foundation-building great cultivator in our Chen family so early. Your Lu family has 3 foundation-building great cultivators. You have been conceding step by step, showing weakness. It's simply despicable and hateful. We're finished, the Chen family is finished. Chen Shuixing, the Chen family patriarch, and all the elders witnessed this scene and heard these words. Their faces turned pale with despair. They thought Meng Xiaochan was a mole sent by the Lu family. When Meng Xiaochan first came to the Chen family, they naturally investigated her background information. They found no connection with the Lu family. Moreover, they had been cautious with Meng Xiaochan, not revealing too much information. But they never expected Meng Xiaochan would betray them at such a critical moment. Facing the combined forces of the Lu and Bai families, 3 foundation establishment cultivators, the Chen family was already struggling to defend themselves. Now with another foundation-building great cultivator turning against them and launching a surprise attack on Ancestor Chen from within, they were entirely powerless to resist. In a flash, a wave of fear and despair spread among the Chen family cultivators. Lu Lang? Who's this? The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, who were grappling with the heavy hammer of the Great Formation, looked at each other equally baffled. They did not understand what was going on. Who is this so-called Lu Lang? They certainly did not know this foundation-building great cultivator. Old Lu Ghost, I had no idea you hid so deep. Bai family ancestor, witnessing the scene not far away, was also utterly astonished. Hearing this Lu Lang, he subconsciously thought that Meng Xiaochan must have been a secret pawn of the Lu family. This made him even more wary of the Lu family, just in case he might also be targeted by the Lu family one day. After all, the 2 families had been allies for generations without any conflicts of interest. But if it involved fundamental interests, such relations could be severed in a heartbeat. It's him! While everyone was puzzled about who Lu Lang mentioned by Meng Xiaochan was, Lu Changxing couldn't help but curse silently. He recognized the thin young man at a glance. It was the same person who had managed to escape from him once when he had led a diversion using a Foundation establishment spiritual object at Nine Dragons Market. Because he was the only one who had escaped from his clutches, and also having invited him to explore a cave dwelling afterward, which caused the peach blossom goo to indicate some romantic fortune, Lu Chongqing had a deep memory of him. Unexpectedly, they would encounter each other here today. Moreover, the other party had become a Foundation establishment great cultivator. This Lu Lang couldn't be calling for me, could it? Lu Chongqing, watching the thin young man commanding the swarm and attacking Ancestor Qin, suddenly recalled something. That was, back at Nine Dragons Market, a girl in a purple dress had attacked him out of nowhere, laying a goo on him. But at that time, he hadn't understood why. Where had he offended her? Now, seeing this thin young man, he suddenly had a guess, an intuitive feeling. The person before him, the thin young man, was actually the girl in the purple dress. One reason being the romantic fortune indicated through the peach blossom goo, letting him know that this thin young man was actually a woman in disguise. Another reason was that goo and bugs were akin, and this thin young man was skilled in bug control. If that's the case, does it all make sense? Her sudden betrayal and attack, could it be because Ancestor Qin just attacked me? If that's the case, then the effects of that love goo are a bit too overbearing, aren't they? Lu Chongqing pondered in his heart. He felt it was very likely that things were as he surmised, but he did not speak out. After all, it was just a guess in his heart. He was not 100% sure that the thin young man was the girl in the purple dress. As Lu Chongqing was contemplating, Meng Xiaoquan's purple fire serpent had already broken through the ice wall and was upon Ancestor Qin. Detestable, utterly detestable. Ancestor Qin, seeing Meng Xiaoquan's murderous look, had no time to think or ask what was going on. He brought out a crimson flying sword, erupting with intense mana fluctuations, and made a fierce cut at the fire serpent before him, splitting it in two. But at that moment, swarms of bugs were closing in on him, a terrifying sight. He quickly formed a spiritual art with his hands, his robe fluttering, as billowing red flames spread out around him, resembling a sweeping fire cloud, annihilating the swarm. Chapter 235. Is Lu Lang Lu Chongqing? Break the formation, break it with all your might. Lu family ancestors saw that the battle of spells between Ancestor Qin and Meng Xiaoquan had significantly weakened the power of the formation before them. He knew Ancestor Qin couldn't multitask at this moment, both maintaining the great formation and battling at the same time. He immediately shouted out loud. Boom boom boom. With the command issued, cultivators from both families surrounding Red Leaf Valley all brought forth magic artifacts, activated talismans, cast spells, and bombarded the great formation. Several array masters also, at this moment, pushed the formation to its limit, leveraging it to pry open Red Leaf Valley's great formation. Break! Lu family ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong, and by family ancestor at this moment, also combined their strength to strike Red Leaf Valley's great formation. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. Boom rumble. Red Leaf Valley's great formation, already converted from defense to offense by Ancestor Qin, was significantly weakened in defense. Now that Ancestor Qin was also dividing his attention, unable to fully control the great formation, its power plummeted yet another notch. Under the relentless assault, and with a loud, explosive noise, the second-rank great formation, like a glazed bowl, shattered into pieces. Phew! The Qin family elder in charge of this formation turned pale at that moment and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. It wasn't just him. All Qin family disciples connected to the great formation also groaned, their breathing disordered. No! Watching the great formation break open, Ancestor Qin, pale-faced and eyes nearly splitting with fury as he struggled against Meng Xiaoquan, roared in unwillingness. He knew their Qin family was finished today. The great formation is broken, kill. Lu family ancestor gave the command. At the same time, he sent a message to Lu Yuanzhong. Yuanzhong, hold back the enemy. After speaking, he held a Qing Zhu flying sword, bursting with sharp energy, and attacked Ancestor Qin, who was locked in a standoff with Meng Xiaochan to prevent Ancestor Qin from escaping. "Ancestor, you must escape." Inside Red Leaf Valley, many Qin family elders, with resolute expressions, shouted loudly towards Ancestor Qin. They were very clear in their hearts. The Qin family was finished. After today, there would be no Qin family in Red Leaf Valley. But if Ancestor Qin managed to escape, he could take the disciples outside to develop in a faraway place. Their Qin family would still have the hope of rising again. However, if Ancestor Qin died too, the chance for their Qin family to rise again would be extremely slim. "Old Ghost Qin, your time has come." Bai family Ancestor, too, issued commands, ordering the Bai family cultivators to attack Red Leaf Valley. He then turned into an escape light and moved to strike Ancestor Qin. Even though he was wary of the Lu family at this moment, he couldn't possibly break the agreement and not exert effort. After all, now that Red Leaf Valley's great formation was broken, it was time to divide the spoils. "Lu, old ghost, you've hidden your plans well. Since when did you start plotting against my Qin family?" Ancestor Qin, with his robe fluttering and hair dancing wildly, surrounded by fierce flames, burning the thick swarm of insects, asked, looking towards Lu family Ancestor attacking him. "Just go on your way with those doubts in your heart." Lu family Ancestor said coldly. He himself was confused, unaware of what Meng Xiaoquan's situation was while fighting Ancestor Qin. But regardless of the situation, this was an opportunity. He intended to seize this chance to slay Ancestor Qin and end the blood feud between the Lu and Qin families. Very well, I can see today." Ancestor Qin, seeing the three at the Foundation establishment level besieging him, also knew that he could not escape today's calamity. He tapped several acupoints on his chest, smacked his dantian, causing his Bodis energy and mana to surge, making even his pale face turn somewhat rosy. Clearly, he was invoking some secret technique to suppress his injuries and temporarily increase his combat power. "Even if I am to die today, you will pay the price." Ancestor Qin glanced at Lu Yuanzhong in the distance with a hint of regret. Then he turned to Bai family Ancestor and roared, attacking him. He knew very well among these three besieging him at Foundation establishment, it was Bai family Ancestor who would dare not clash directly with him, the point of breakthrough. If he could kill Bai family Ancestor in a desperate move, it would throw the Bai family into chaos. As for Lu family Ancestor, his life expectancy was no more than 2 years. With Lu Yuanzhong around, there was not much point in fighting Lu family Ancestor to the death. "Old Ghost Qin, do you think this Ancestor is easy to bully?" Bai family Ancestor, seeing Ancestor Qin attacking him, cursed inwardly. This whole affair was clearly led by the Lu family. Why come after him? But he also guessed Ancestor Qin's thoughts, wanting to treat him as a weak link, and quickly summoned a colorful feathered garment, radiating colorful divine light. "Qin family cultivators, kill. Those who resist and refuse to surrender, kill. Those who intentionally damage property, kill." While the three at Foundation establishment level besieged Ancestor Qin, Lu Yuanzhong stood over Red Leaf Valley, holding the line, watching the two families' cultivators assail the Qin family. At this time, Fourth Elder did not question Lu Changxing about the second-rank talisman. Driving the flying boat, along with Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoyun, and others, they entered Red Leaf Valley, wielding a flying sword, and began the slaughter. Alas, this is the cultivation world. Lu Changxing watched the slaughter before him and sighed softly. He too had been through several massacres. Usually, when encountering robber cultivators, he felt no ripple in his heart when killing. But at this moment, the large-scale carnage before him did stir some emotions. However, he wasn't overly sentimental. Over the years, he had gradually adapted to the law of the survival of the fittest in the cultivation world. If you don't kill, others will kill you. If the Lu family had been the ones to fall today, this would have been their fate. I'll fight you all. A Qin family cultivator at 9th level energy refinement, utilizing magic artifacts, controlling puppets, activating several talismans, clashed against 3 Lu family elders. But in the next moment, Lu Yuanzhong, standing firm above, made his move. A mana hand came down and squashed him with a single clap. Chapter 236. Is Lu Lang Lu Changxing? Lu Changxing recognized the Chen family cultivator. It was none other than Qin Shuixing, the Chen family patriarch and leader of those who had ambushed them on their way to Qingzhou Mountain from Qingyun's sect with Lu Yuanding. But now, this same Chen family patriarch was slapped dead by Lu Yuanzhong with a single palm strike, emitting only a muffled grunt. This is the gap between qi refinement and foundation establishment, Lu Changxing thought quietly to himself. Family head. Even in death, our Qin family will never submit. Let's fight them with all we've got. Except for some cultivators not related by blood who knelt to beg for mercy, the bloodline of the Chen family fought to their last breath. Because they knew they were certain to die. Better to go down fighting than to wait for death. Kill! At that moment, not far away, a Chen family cultivator with a fierce face commanded a flying sword, aiming it straight at Lu Miaoyun. Yuna, be careful. Lu Changxing instantly activated a talisman, forming a protective light shield around Lu Miaoyun. Following that, the green-face sword was unsheathed, transforming into a piercing sword light that shot forth, piercing through the cultivator's chest. The Chen family cultivator, blood overflowing from his mouth, looked unwillingly at Lu Changxing and the others before collapsing to the ground with a thud. Yuna, stay by my side, Lu Changxing said calmly to Lu Miaoyun. Though Lu Miaoyun had reached the 5th level of qi refinement, she had never really engaged in combat and had poor practical experience. This was also why the Lu and Bai families brought their clan's disciples here. Cultivation isn't about sitting back and relaxing, meditating daily, and leisurely riding on cranes. It's about fearlessness in the heart, slaying countless demons, braving brambles and thorns, to seek the path of true self. This endless road of cultivation is destined to go through countless calamities, honed by blood. All right, Lu Miaoyun obediently nodded, somewhat surprised by the strength of her husband. In such a slaughter he remained so composed. The 4th elder, watching this scene, was likewise taken aback by Lu Changxing's performance, feeling that her grandson-in-law was becoming more and more mysterious, unfathomable. Not only had he just used a 2nd-rank talisman, but now he calmly killed a 6th-level energy-refining cultivator. To think, Lu Changxing had merely reached the 6th level of qi refinement himself. No wonder Changxing managed to escape from the hands of 3 energy refinement late-stage cultivators back then, the 4th elder thought to herself. She then instructed, Changxing Yuna, be careful and don't stray too far from Grandma. Though this battle was victorious, a cornered beast will still fight. The desperate retaliation from the Chen family was bound to injure, or even kill, some of the Lu and Bai family disciples. Such things were inevitable. Grandma, rest assured, Lu Changxing nodded. He had no desire to rack up merit by killing enemies. If a Chen family cultivator charged at them, he would counter and kill. If not, he would stay with Lu Miaoyun by the 4th elder's side. Meanwhile, above Red Leaf Valley, Ancestor Chen, amidst the siege of 3 foundation establishment cultivators, hair disheveled, spitting blood, wounded all over, was driven to madness. The moment the great formation broke, his mana had been damaged. Now entangled by 3 adversaries and witnessing the slaughter of his clan, he was driven to extreme desperation. All of you will die. Boom! Realizing his own end was near, Ancestor Chen pushed the secret technique he was using to the limit. He detonated his spiritual artifact and took out a blue pearl, hurling it towards the Bai family ancestor. After all, in his eyes, although this battle was due to Meng Xiaochan, he hated the Lu family and Bai family even more. He wanted to drag someone with him in death. Boom, boom, boom. Amidst the explosion of the spiritual artifact and the heavenly thunder pearl, the sky erupted with a thunderous noise and a dazzling white light. It made everyone in Red Leaf Valley turn their gaze towards the spectacular white light in the sky. Ancestor! Ancestor! Lu Yuanzhong and the Bai family head hurriedly rushed toward the center of the white light. Cough cough, If it hadn't been for my early precautions, that old ghost Chen's dying struggle and the self-destruction of his spiritual artifact along with this heavenly thunder pearl, I might really have been done for, Lu family ancestor said, coughing up blood. It's fine, I had anticipated that the old fiend would fight desperately at his death. By family ancestor too, was coughing up blood, his spiritual clothing and feather cloak damaged. He was infuriated at the thought of Ancestor Chen trying to take him down with him. The injuries from this battle would take 3 to 5 years to heal properly. And with that mighty explosion, as Ancestor Chen perished, Meng Xiaoquan's mental spirit also regained a sliver of clarity. Her disguise of shape and appearance was broken in that moment. She transformed from a thin young man into a delicate-featured, stunning girl clad in purple, with an ethereal and vivacious aura. She too had been injured in the fray and the explosion of the spiritual artifact. Her complexion was somewhat pale, making her gorgeous face appear all the more pitiable. Such a terrifying Lockhart Gu. At this moment, Meng Xiaoquan's recognition of the horror of the Lockhart Gu deepened. She hadn't laid a hand on Lu Changsheng herself, merely let Ancestor Chen make his move. But watching Ancestor Chen attack Lu Changsheng, the affection flooding her heart directly caused her to lose her sanity. The only thought in her mind was to die for love. Once the Lockhart Gu takes effect, breaking free from it is extremely difficult. I can't continue like this. While I still have not completely lost myself, leaving Jiang country and never seeing him again is the best strategy. Moreover, this man seems to be my nemesis. At this moment, Meng Xiaochan felt nothing but fear towards Lu Changsheng and harbored no ill will, only love. She no longer dared to suppress the effects of the Lockhart Gu, knowing that the more she resisted, the more she suppressed, the faster she would fall. Especially when the affection surged like a tidal wave, instantly causing her to lose her reason. Moreover, having been thwarted by Lu Changsheng 3 times, she had abandoned the idea of seeking revenge. The first time, she nearly lost her life and forfeited 2 Foundation establishment spiritual objects. The second time, not only did she lose the Lockhart Gu, but was also backfired on by the Poison Gu, which almost cost her own life. Now this third time, for the sake of Lu Changsheng, she fought with Ancestor Chen and almost sacrificed her life. She dared not contemplate what the outcome would be if there were a next time. Thank you for your assistance, Taoist friend, Lu family ancestor expressed, without concern for Meng Xiaoquan's change in appearance, with a polite bow. This battle would have been impossible to win so easily without Meng Xiaoquan's help. Even if they could have taken Red Leaf Valley, he, the Lu family ancestor, would have had to fight to the death with Ancestor Chen and possibly perish here. There's no need for thanks. I assisted you all for the sake of Lu Lang, Meng Xiaochan said with a lamenting tone. Saying so, her beautiful eyes filled with longing and affection as she looked towards Red Leaf Valley, at a handsome young man standing upright with a magical sword in his hand. Lu Lang, Lu family ancestor, by family ancestor, and Lu Yunzhong were all somewhat taken aback by this address, not knowing who this Lu Lang was. Following Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, they immediately saw the 4th elder, Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoyun, and others. Lu Changsheng. The moment Lu family ancestor saw the group, his eyes immediately locked onto Lu Changsheng. He surmised that this Lu Lang must be Lu Changsheng. This made him, a Foundation establishment ancestor, feel a surge of shock in his heart. He had always thought Lu Changsheng was extraordinary, a person with grand opportunities and destiny. But this was beyond belief. Despite still being in the Qi refinement realm, an energy refinement cultivator had caught the heart of a Foundation establishment great cultivator, who now looked at him with such a lamenting gaze. And he remembered that when Lu Yuanding and the 4th elder reported to him about Lu Changsheng, they mentioned that Lu Changsheng liked to marry and sire children, having many wives and maids. In such circumstances, yet another Foundation establishment great cultivator had fallen for him. This Lu family ancestor didn't know what to say for a moment. Lu Changsheng. Lu Yuanzhong also followed Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, his eyes full of surprise and suspicion as he looked towards Lu Changsheng. He was not very clear about the situation with Lu Changsheng, but Meng Xiaoquan's words and eyes left him utterly bewildered. Lu Changxing. The current situation made by family ancestor feel that something was amiss. It seemed that this foundation establishment great cultivator wasn't arranged by the Lu family ancestor as a covert collaborator within the Chen family. It appeared to be due to a Lu family disciple. Watching Meng Xiaoquan's tender and longing gaze directed at an energy-refining cultivator, he felt almost like he was in a dream. Even though this energy-refining cultivator was indeed handsome and striking, since when did the cultivation world care so much about appearances? While the three foundation establishment ancestors were in the midst of questioning life, Meng Xiaoquan, with her dress fluttering in the wind, flew down towards Lu Changxing in the midst of Red Leaf Valley. Chapter 237. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. _1 At this point, the killing in Red Leaf Valley was almost over. The bloodline of the Qin family's cultivators had been nearly wiped out. All that remained were cultivators with different surnames, as well as slaves and mortals. Then, following a thunderous boom that shook the heavens and earth from above Red Leaf Valley, everyone raised their heads to look at the piercing white light in the sky. As the white light gradually dissipated, the figures of the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and a purple-clad figure appeared. But there was no sign of Ancestor Qin. Everyone knew that Ancestor Qin was dead. From today onward, the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley would be no more. As for the previously seen thin young man, he had disappeared. Instead, there was a purple-clad girl with a stunningly beautiful face and an ethereal, elusive temperament. The crowd also guessed that this purple-clad girl was actually the thin young man in disguise. To this, they were somewhat surprised, but it also seemed inevitable. After all, just now many had heard Meng Xiaoquan calling out Lu Lang. From this address, it was clear that this Lu Lang was most likely a man. One man calling another man Lu Lang might make sense, but it also seemed a bit strange. However, if it turned out to be a female cultivator, it would appear quite normal. Watching the exquisitely beautiful Meng Xiaoquan in the sky, everyone thought to themselves, wondering who this Lu Lang she mentioned could be? To have captured the heart of a foundation establishment great cultivator in such a way. Is it the Lu family ancestor or Yuan Zhong? Members of the two families gazed at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yunzhong in the sky, speculating in their minds. It's really her. Lu Changxing, looking at the purple-clad girl in the sky, thought to himself that it was as he had guessed. He knew he had guessed right earlier. The thin young man from just now was the same purple-dress girl who had placed the goo on him back then. Although the girl in the purple dress had a pretty face which was only considerately beautiful and varied greatly from the current exquisitely beautiful features and the ethereal, elusive temperament, the contours of her eyebrows and eyes, together with her current attire, allowed Lu Changxing to see a resemblance. He was 100% certain that the two were the same person. Does this mean that the Lu Lang she called out was me? Did she suddenly attack Ancestor Qin just now because of me? Because Ancestor Qin attacked me? Lu Changxing pondered to himself. He felt he had mostly figured out the cause and effect, and his confusion was clearing. But then, Lu Changxing's thoughts halted, and another question came to mind. Under these circumstances, she wouldn't come over and greet me, would she? This thought made Lu Changxing suddenly feel a bit panicked. If she were to come over and greet him in front of this crowd, and call out Lu Lang again, wouldn't he be exposed? He would draw attention and be remembered. However, no sooner had the thought crossed his mind than Lu Changxing saw Meng Xiaoquan, in her purple dress, drifting down from the sky towards him. Damn it! Lu Changxing couldn't help but curse internally. This was really setting him up. Under the gaze of everyone present, Meng Xiaoquan approached Lu Changxing. Her delicate face was slightly pale from the recent battle. Her eyes, full of sorrow and apology, looked at Lu Changxing. Then, with a voice mellifluous and shy, she said, Lu Lang. Hiss! 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 At that moment, everyone around was shocked, stunned, taken aback. The fourth elder was stunned. Lu Miaoyun was stunned. Lu Yuanding was stunned. Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan were also stunned. Just a moment ago they were speculating how deeply the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong were hiding their true strength, having even kept a foundation establishment great cultivator as a spy within the Chen family. But never in their wildest dreams had they imagined that this foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was actually Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing, who was outside, actually knew such a foundation establishment great cultivator. And at that moment, this ethereal and fairy-like great cultivator looked tenderly at Lu Changxing with a voice as soft as water, calling out Lu Lang. From their tone, everyone in the moment heard endless sorrow and affection, which caused everyone to gasp in unison. Sigh. Lu Changxing sighed inwardly. He could clearly feel that at this moment, countless eyes filled with shock, surprise, doubt, admiration, and respect were fixed on him. He knew he could no longer keep a low profile. Miss, glad to see you're unharmed. Lu Changxing, looking at Meng Xiaochan before him, said somewhat awkwardly. While speaking, he stealthily slid his hand into his sleeve, clutching the golden light brick talisman treasure. Although he suspected that she had fallen in love with him due to the backlash of the affection goo, the underlying reasons and effects were mostly his own speculations. He was still unclear about the exact effects of this love goo. He didn't know if she would still try to harm him. After all, their first two encounters had not been very pleasant. Lu Changxing also found it too much of a coincidence that Ancestor Chen had suddenly attacked him, and he suspected it might be related to her. This made him extremely cautious. Nevertheless, considering he had the profound origin beat on him, he was still quite confident when facing the current Meng Xiaochan. If Lu Lang recognized me yet was unwilling to meet, how could I be unharmed? Meng Xiaoquan's delicate lips curved slightly, and her starry eyes full of sorrow spoke. It was as though she was looking at a heartless lover. Hearing this, Lu Changxing watched her sorrowful expression and twitched in annoyance. Big sister, we've only met 3 times in total. I don't even know your name. He thought to himself that this affection goo was far too domineering. Ever since the goo backlash, he hadn't seen her, and now upon meeting her, she was like this. He was relieved that he had the peach blossom goo, or he would have been in the same state. Just the thought gave Lu Changxing shivers. Hiss! 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 And at this moment, everyone around him gasped again. Chapter 238. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. If it wasn't for fear of speaking loudly and disturbing this foundation establishment great cultivator, who might be addressed reverently, they surely would have given their opinion and said that Lu Changxing did not recognize what was good for him. Even more extreme, some directly plopped to their knees. They felt that at this time, they should be kneeling to listen to how Lu Changxing would reply. Not just them, but also the 3 ancestors high in the sky were stunned. Just now, when they learned that the foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was Lu Changxing, they were too shocked to speak. But now, seeing this foundation establishment great cultivator show such a demure daughterly attitude in front of Lu Changxing, felt even more like a dream. This Lu Changxing, what kind of charm does he possess? To actually make a foundation establishment great cultivator display such an attitude. One must know that in the cultivation world, there are far fewer female cultivators than male cultivators. And as the cultivation realm increases, the disparity between the number of males to females becomes even more severe. Hence, in such a situation, female cultivators with beautiful looks and profound cultivation levels are especially popular. Most female cultivators would have several, or even dozens of suitors. Yet, at this moment, a foundation establishment great cultivator resembling an immortal was showing such an attitude to an energy-refining cultivator. It truly made them question life itself. They felt as if the decades or centuries they'd lived had been in vain. Only at this moment did they truly educate their eyes. Seeing that Lu Changxing did not speak, Meng Xiaochan sighed softly. She spoke to herself, Xiaochan knows that Lu Lang holds a grudge against me in his heart, hence he is not willing to acknowledge me. But now, my heart towards Lu Lang is sincere. This is the gift Xiaochan prepared for Lu Lang, a token of my feelings, please accept it, Lu Lang. Meng Xiaochan said with a melancholic sigh. She handed a storage bag to Lu Changxing. A gift, a token of affection? Lu Changxing eyed the storage bag before him, his gaze narrowing slightly. He felt that the other party was sincere, but the current situation, quite frankly, baffled him, and he did not know how to respond. Plop, 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 sounds of knees hitting the ground rose. One could see young cultivators from both the Lu family and Bai family kneeling, looking toward Lu Changxing. They felt that they could only kneel and learn from this level of conversation to show their respect. They did not dare to hope to be like Lu Changxing, to have a foundation establishment great cultivator talk so humbly and offer gifts. They simply wished that in the future, when they had a companion to cultivate alongside, their companion would be so considerate and well-behaved, which would be more than enough to satisfy them. Does Lu Lang not want to forgive Xiaochan? Meng Xiaochan saw that Lu Changxing wouldn't accept it, and her exquisite face showed a crestfallen sigh. Such demeanor and speech could melt even the strongest of steel. It virtually stunned and astonished everyone around. A foundation establishment great cultivator is actually fawning over Lu Changxing like this. Not far away, Lu Miaohuan watched this scene in astonishment, biting her lip. She hadn't expected that Lu Changxing's charm could reach such a degree. To make a foundation establishment great cultivator, who in appearance was not the slightest bit inferior to her own, act like this. This caused Lu Miaohuan to feel an intense sense of crisis in her heart. But the next moment, when she saw Lu Changxing's indifferent attitude toward Meng Xiaochan and thought of how Lu Changxing usually treated her, she couldn't help but puff out her chest with pride. What does it matter if she is a foundation establishment great cultivator and beautiful? But Lu Changxing likes someone like me. Lu Miaohuan's heart leaped with joy as she found a reason to be happy. Lu Miaoge also quietly watched this unfold. She knew that Lu Changxing had some secrets, but she had never imagined that Lu Changxing had hidden them so deeply. She couldn't understand how Lu Changxing had made a foundation establishment great cultivator fall for him like this. Husband, since it is the senior's goodwill, you should accept it, said Lu Miaoyun, holding Lu Changxing's hand, speaking softly. She too was shocked by the situation before her. She never thought that the Lu Lang mentioned by the senior was actually her own husband. She was simply at a loss for words. But seeing a foundation establishment great cultivator act like this, she too wanted to show her own closeness and magnanimity. Yes, Changxing, since it's the girl's sincere feelings, you should accept it, the fourth elder also spoke up. She hadn't expected that the Lu Lang spoken of by the foundation establishment great cultivator was actually her grandson-in-law, and to display such humility in front of her grandson-in-law. Seeing this, she was somewhat tempted to tell Lu Changxing that he did not appreciate what was good for him. After all, usually, a foundation establishment great cultivator was an elder master that anyone would respectfully greet. But now, a foundation establishment great cultivator was apologizing and making amends to Lu Changxing, an energy-refining cultivator, which made her feel that even if there was a fault, it was enough. Fine, thank you Miss Xiaochan, I will accept the gift, and we can put the past grievances aside, said Lu Changxing, carefully reaching out to take the storage bag. But his heart remained vigilant, prepared to react at any moment. After all, if the other party really meant to strike at him, even with the profound origin bead at hand, a slight carelessness could still mean danger. Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chana? Upon hearing these words, the wistfulness disappeared from Meng Xiaoquan's eyes. Her stunningly beautiful face revealed the innocent joy of a young girl, with shallow dimples that were captivating. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. If there had been no one around, he certainly would not have nodded in agreement, as he needed to observe the effects of the goo of affection. But now, in front of such a large audience, with so many people around, it would not be good for him to say too much. Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chana, that's wonderful, said Meng Xiaochan, her voice filled with genuine emotion. But Chana has important matters to attend to and cannot stay by Lu Lang's side. Once I have attended to my affairs, I am willing to cast aside all vanities to boil soup and cook meals for Lu Lang, and spend the rest of our lives together. Having said that, with eyes full of reluctance, She rose gracefully into the air and turned into a beam of escape light, leaving. Phew! Seeing Meng Xiaochan depart, Lu Changsheng also exhaled a breath of relief. Chapter 239. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. With the backlash from the love goo, I felt that the other party truly bore no malice toward me. If we meet again in the future, I can try to learn more about the situation with this goo worm. Changxing, can I learn from you? At this moment, a Lu family disciple looked up to Lu Changxing as if on a pilgrimage. Brother Changxing, you are indeed a role model for our generation. Does this count as being kept by a woman? What being kept by a woman? This is eating soft rice with gusto. Indeed, the most devoted lover of Qingzhou Mountain. Ah, I thought I had been through thousands of flowers without a single leaf touching me, a master of love. Only today did I realize how vast the world is. The most ruthless should be that Sister Miaoyun from the Miaoyun clan is right beside him, shouldn't it? I can't learn this, I can't learn this. Just now I didn't dare to miss a single moment, waiting eagerly for Lu Changxing to speak, and in the end he said nothing. Silence is more eloquent than words. Just this move is enough for us to ponder for a lifetime. Once Meng Xiaochan left, many Lu family disciples dared to voice their discussions. The situation had just about suffocated them. Many Bai family cultivators also deeply remembered this scene today, as well as the name Lu Changxing. I really didn't intend to live off a woman's support. Watching the gazes around him, Lu Changxing reluctantly thought to himself as people approached him for guidance. He felt like he had become someone living off a woman in everyone's eyes. Cough, cough. At that moment, the Lu family ancestor descended from the sky, coughing lightly twice, signaling everyone to quiet down and disperse. Lu Changxing, what's the matter with you and the fellow cultivator from before? The Lu family ancestor also inquired of Lu Changxing. The recent event had truly dumbfounded him. He was immensely shocked inside. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing pondered for a moment. Later, with a bitter smile, he said, Ancestor, I encountered her severely injured on my way to the Nine Dragons Market, and I saved her life. After that, she invited me to explore a cave mansion, where some things happened, Lu Changxing vaguely stated. After all, he didn't have any way to explain such matters, so he could only make up a story. As for whether they believed him or not, that was no longer his concern. I see. Changxing, we owe you a great deal this time. Rest assured, we will reward you for your service and credit you with the highest merit, the Lu family ancestor said in a mild tone. Everyone had their own chance encounters and secrets. It would be embarrassing for him to pry further. He only knew that if it weren't for Lu Changxing knowing this foundation establishment great cultivator today, the Lu family would have been in trouble. Moreover, as long as Lu Changxing stayed with the Lu family, relying on his relationship with this foundation establishment great cultivator, they would have an additional deterrence against others. Thank you, ancestor. Lu Changxing slightly bowed and said, Okay, you all rest here and stay vigilant, said the Lu family ancestor, not saying much more. He then began the task of cleaning up Red Leaf Valley with the others. Yuner, I didn't mean to keep this from you, Lu Changxing said to his wife Lu Miaoyun, feeling the need to explain. It's okay, husband, as long as you have Yuner in your heart, Lu Miaoyun replied softly, shaking her head. She had long come to terms with Lu Changxing's situation regarding wives and concubines. Now, seeing a foundation-building great cultivator falling for her husband, it was false to say she didn't feel threatened. But at the same time, she also felt a sense of achievement in her heart. She thought it was well-deserved that it was her husband. Changxing, did you also get your second-rank talisman in that cave mansion? At that moment, the fourth elder asked. Yes, Granny, the elixir medicines I used to save Sister Miaoga and these few second-rank talismans were gained from that adventure in the cave mansion, Lu Changxing explained. Right away, he attributed some of his chance encounters to Meng Xiaochan. Hearing this, the fourth elder did not continue to question further. Allowing Lu Changxing to rest here, she went about her business, beginning to tally the spoils and collect the resources of the Chen family. Dusk dimmed. The setting sun was like blood, mirroring the crimson valley, hugely beautiful. As the sun set, the people from the Lu and Bai families felt heartily content. A sense of peaceful beauty filled the air. The cultivators from the Chen family turned into angry and desperate ghastly heads filled with rage and despair. The upper echelons of the Lu and Bai families were organizing the situation in Red Leaf Valley. Lu Changsheng was chatting with his wife Lu Miaoyun on the side. Lu Miaohuan had brought her sister Lu Miaoge over to join in the fun as well. However, it was only Lu Miaohuan speaking the entire time, chirping questions non-stop. Lu Miaoge sat quietly on the side, a picture of serene beauty. At that moment, "HM? Whose spirit boat is that? Be careful on guard." Someone looked to the sky and shouted loudly. Lu Changsheng raised his head. He immediately saw a spirit boat hurtling towards them, stopping above Red Leaf Valley. After 3 cultivators descended from the flying boat. An elderly man with gray hair and a black robe. A middle-aged man around 40, with an imposing face and dressed in a blue-green robe. And a young man in a crimson brocade robe. The elderly man in the black robe and the man in the blue robe emitted a terrifying aura and pressure. 2 Foundation establishment great cultivators. Noticing these 3, Lu Changsheng could tell, aside from the young man in the crimson robe, the other 2 were Foundation establishment great cultivators. The young man in the crimson robe looks dressed like a Chen family member from Red Leaf Valley. As for these 2, could they be the Wugong Ridge Xing family ancestor and the Bai Lake Mountain Foundation establishment great cultivator? Lu Changsheng thought to himself. The nearby major cultivation families all had their own family colors. Qingzhou Mountain was known for its green, with clothes often featuring bamboo and bamboo leaf patterns. The Chen family of Red Leaf Valley was known for their red color, whereas Wugong Ridge's Zheng family was black, and Bai Lake Mountain's Yu family was blue-green. Therefore, seeing the sudden appearance of these 3 people, through their clothing and appearance, Lu Changsheng made a guess about their identities. Chapter 240. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. For after all, there are only so many major cultivation families around. Now that the Lu family and the Bai family have made a move against the Qin family, the Yu family and the Zheng family are unlikely to just sit by and watch. Once the Lu family and the Bai family swallow up the Chen family's cultivation resources and gain Red Leaf Valley as a spiritual land, they will be able to develop rapidly. By then, the birth of new foundation-building great cultivators will pose a threat to those around them. Beforehand, the Lu family had anticipated the possibility of the Wugong Ridge Xing family getting involved, hence the need for swift action. If this man in blue robes really is from the Bai Lake Mountain Yu family, it seems that the Yu family has also been paying attention to the affairs between the Lu family and the Chen family, hoping to get a slice of the pie, Lu Changsheng contemplated in his heart. Thinking of the earlier matter when the 3rd young master of the Yu family had come to recruit him. He felt it was quite normal for the Yu family to want to intervene. Just now, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured, and with the Yu family having 2 foundation-building great cultivators, plus the Zheng family ancestor, that makes 3 foundation-building great cultivators. It's hard to say how this matter will be resolved, Lu Changsheng sighed internally. He knew it wouldn't be easy for the Lu family to take down the Qin family. Before he could think further, he saw 3 streaks of rainbow light flying out from the depths of Red Leaf Valley. They were the Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yunzhong, who were in the process of cleaning up the Qin family. Greetings to Lu Taoist, Zheng Taoist. May I ask why the 2 esteemed Taoists have come here? The Lu family ancestor said to the man in blue robes and the man in black robes. The Bai family ancestor and Lu Yunzhong also looked at the 2 with disfavor, vaguely guessing the purpose of their visit. This old ancestor came here at the invitation of Patriarch Qin to visit Red Leaf Valley. The Zheng family ancestor in black robes replied, looking at the 3 of them. He was inwardly shocked. He had received a call for help from the Qin family, learning that the Lu family had given birth to a new foundation establishment great cultivator and had joined forces with the Bai family to attack Red Leaf Valley. To his surprise, the Qin family had fallen so quickly. He couldn't help but feel fortunate to have encountered the patriarch of the Yu family on the way. Otherwise, coming here alone would have been dangerous. Lu Daoist, a few days ago, Patriarch Chen sent young Master Chen to our by Lake Mountain, stating that the Chen family is willing to become a vassal of our Yu family. So, I have come here with young Master Chen, intending to discuss this matter in detail with the Chen family. What are you doing here in Red Leaf Valley? The patriarch of the Yu family said calmly to the Lu family ancestor and his group. He was also surprised that the Chen family had already fallen, and that both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were still alive. He had received news of the Lu family and Bai family joining forces to attack the Chen family. He had initially thought that this battle would at least result in the demise of both the Lu family ancestor and Patriarch Chen, with the Bai family ancestor seriously injured. Then their Yu family could reap the benefits of the fishermen. But unexpectedly, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor in front of him were not dead. They were only injured, with their aura in disarray. Becoming vassals? The Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong's faces all darkened upon hearing this. It was clear to them why the Yu family and Zheng family had come. The Chen family of Red Leaf Valley and our Lu family are mortal enemies. With my impending death, I wish to settle the grudge between our families before I pass. What, do you, Lu Daoist and Zheng Daoist, plan to interfere? The Lu family ancestor spoke, no longer courteous, and said coldly. He was prepared to die, and after uniting with the Bai family and spending a massive amount of resources, they had finally annihilated the Chen family. Now that the Yu family and Zheng family had come, they expected him to spit out the meat that was already in his mouth, as if such an easy thing existed in the world. Even if the Yu family was much stronger than their Lu family, with 2 foundation establishment great cultivators, their Lu family was not to be trifled with. The words of Lu Daoist are incorrect. We of the Yu family naturally would not intervene in the grudges between your Lu family and the Chen family. But since Patriarch Chen has expressed his wish for the Chen family to become a vassal of our Yu family, this is a matter we have to care about, the patriarch of the Yu family stated with a serious expression. You say that the Chen family, having become a vassal of your Yu family, makes it your vassal? Now that old Ghost Chen is dead, why not let him speak for himself? Bai family ancestor also snorted coldly. Clearly, the opposite party was setting up a clear opportunity for plundering in the wake of disaster, and he naturally was not in a mood to converse nicely. Young Master Chen, please explain the situation to the 2 Taoists. The patriarch of the Yu family turned and instructed the young Master Chen in a crimson brocade robe beside him. Indeed, my Chen family has decided to become vassals of Bai Lake Mountain's Yu family. Therefore, this Red Leaf Valley also belongs to the Yu family, young Master Chen said, looking towards Red Leaf Valley before speaking with eyes full of hatred. Who are these mongrels, presuming to speak for the Chen family? There is no longer a Red Leaf Valley Chen family. The Lu family ancestor said coldly, taking action at once. He launched a man-filled longsword towards young Master Chen. Bang! With a gesture, the patriarch of the Yu family broke the man-filled longsword. Then he spoke indifferently, Lu Daoist, if that's how it's going to be, are you saying you wish to be at odds with my Bai Lake Mountain? Quite at odds indeed? The Lu family ancestor chuckled derisively and said, in ordinary times, my Lu family might indeed fear your Yu family by 3 points. But this old man doesn't have much time left, and before death, I'd like to recklessly challenge Lu Daoist's divine skills. While speaking, he turned his gaze towards the Zheng family ancestor and said, Old Ghost Zheng, do you intend to meddle in this matter? The Lu family ancestor spoke calmly, but his eyes carried a fierce and ruthless menace. To grow into a foundation establishment ancestor was not merely a matter of talent or meditation cultivation. He had also experienced countless bloodbaths. It was only as he aged and became an ancestor that he began to cultivate his temperament and nature. I have no intention of meddling, the Zheng family ancestor said with a smile. But the Chen family once owed my Zheng family a debt of resources. Now that your Lu family and the Bai family have destroyed the Chen family, To whom should I turn for that debt? After all, you know the situation of my Zheng family, Taoist Lu. Absorbing the Qin family, you wouldn't miss that bit of resources, would you? Said the Zheng family ancestor. Naturally, he could see that both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured. But he did not wish to conflict with either of them. After all, if a foundation establishment cultivator truly fought with all their might, it may not end in death, but significant injuries would likely result. Moreover, aside from the Lu family ancestor, there were also the Bai family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, the latter being a newly advanced foundation establishment cultivator, present. Yet he couldn't just walk away without a share of benefits. Lu Daoist may indeed bargain for a few moves without issue. But our Golden Sun ancestor is also on his way here. Do you really think you can defeat me? Said the patriarch of the Yu family as he unleashed a crimson-yellow wheel and an ice-blue crescent wheel from his sleeve, readying for battle. Spiritual light surged around him, and he exuded an incredibly fierce spiritual pressure and bravery. Golden Sun ancestor? Upon hearing this name, the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong all narrowed their eyes, aware of the formidability of this Golden Sun ancestor. And their current state left them with no confidence of capturing the patriarch of the Yu family alive. Besides, there was also the Zheng family ancestor nearby. It seems that your Yu family has resolved to be the fisherman who benefits from the quarrel, said the Lu family ancestor. But aren't you curious, Patriarch Yu, as to how our two families managed to breach the Qin family so swiftly? He continued. Upon hearing this, both the patriarch of the Yu family and the Zheng family ancestor were visibly taken aback. Inside Red Leaf Valley. Is a fight about to break out? Lu Changxing mused as he watched from below the tense standoff above, with the patriarch of the Yu family summoning his spiritual artifacts and showing a ferocious stance. But the very next moment, he saw the patriarch of the Yu family's crimson-yellow wheel turn, unleashing a wave of crimson and yellow flames that swept over and instantly reduced the nearby young Master Qin to ash. Right after, 5 foundation-building great cultivators ascended to board the spirit boat in the sky. What's this? Could it be that they've negotiated a truce? Lu Changxing furrowed his brow in curiosity. He hadn't expected that one moment there seemed to be an impending clash, and the next, they ceased hostilities, killed that Chen family youth in the red robe, and together boarded the spirit boat. If these two really are foundation establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain and the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge, then the Lu family and Bai family will have to concede some benefits this time. After all, it's not just about seizing territory, but also being able to hold it. Only when you have the strength to defend and gain recognition from the surrounding area can you truly take possession. Otherwise, as the saying goes, lose the people and you lose the land. Lu Changxing thought to himself. Although the Lu family and the Bai family had taken down Red Leaf Valley and killed Ancestor Qin, they had yet to take full control of the valley. Moreover, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were not in the best condition, and Lu Yuanzhong had just reached foundation establishment. Under these circumstances, it would indeed be difficult to hold Red Leaf Valley against the Yu family and the Zheng family. If the conflict were to escalate, his survival would become all the more precarious. I hope for a peaceful resolution, Lu Changxing silently wished. He hoped that the families would maintain peace and stability, allowing him time to grow and develop quietly. From the earlier battle where Meng Xiaochan, the Lu family ancestor, and the Bai family ancestor teamed up against Ancestor Qin, he realized that killing a foundation establishment great cultivator was still a daunting task. With the help of a second-rank puppet, a talisman treasure, and the treasure bone technique, he could defeat a foundation establishment great cultivator, but if the opponent fought desperately and used all their methods, he too would get injured. Though he had life-substituting talismans and was not overly worried, at this stage, Lu Changxing still preferred to avoid encounters with great cultivators of foundation establishment. He simply desired steady growth, secretly advancing all the way to foundation establishment. Chapter 241. Foundation Establishment, Sorted. _1. How come two Foundation establishment great cultivators suddenly came here? That black-robed elder must be the ancestor of the Wugong Ridge Xing family, right? That should be the case. As for the other one, if nothing unexpected has happened, it should be the Foundation establishment ancestor from the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain. Why would the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain be together with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge? They must have seen us conquer Red Leaf Valley, so they want to get a piece of the action. Exactly, just now from the looks of it, they were almost going to make a move. Now that our two families have just taken down Red Leaf Valley, the Yu family and Zheng family have sent people. It's obvious they want to take advantage of the situation. Inside Red Leaf Valley, many of the Lu family and Bai family cultivators looked at the scene in the sky, guessing the intentions of these two Foundation establishment great cultivators, and couldn't help but become filled with righteous indignation. Today, their two families had finally taken down Red Leaf Valley and were about to enjoy the fruits of victory. But now, before they could even pick and enjoy the fruits, the Yu family and Zheng family had Foundation establishment great cultivators arriving. Clearly, they wanted to snatch away the fruits of victory. Naturally, this made everyone very unhappy. Even if they were unhappy, everyone only dared to discuss it quietly. Lu Changxing, thanks to you knowing that Foundation establishment great cultivator, or else today we might have really been taken advantage of in the chaos, said Lu Miaohuan, also speaking up indignantly. Obviously, she was very upset about the two Foundation establishment great cultivators coming to take advantage of the situation. Right, Lu Changxing, what's inside the gift that Foundation establishment great cultivator gave you? Lu Miaohuan continued, with no hint of her initial aloofness, chatting away like a chatterbox with a curious look on her face. Just some spirit stones and cultivation resources, Lu Changxing replied casually. He hadn't yet carefully checked the gift that Meng Xiaochan had given him. Had only taken a quick glance at it. He saw that the storage bag was filled with a bunch of spirit stones, along with 2 porcelain bottles and a jade box. Cultivation resources? Upon hearing this, Lu Miaohuan didn't ask any further. She went on to say, when we return this time, the family will hold a ceremony to honor our contributions, and you'll definitely be greatly rewarded. Then you won't be lacking cultivation resources. I suppose so. Lu Changxing wasn't very concerned about the reward. After all, with his talisman-making skills and occasionally earning a side income, he wasn't lacking cultivation resources. If there was anything he was lacking, it would be a Foundation establishment elixir. But it was clear that the Lu family didn't have a Foundation establishment elixir. Even if they did have one, they wouldn't give him a Foundation establishment elixir as a reward. Looking at the chattering second miss in front of him, Lu Changxing raised an eyebrow and said, "Second miss, what if I don't ask for any resources as a reward but instead ask the family head for an engagement? What do you think he would agree to?" Ah? Lu Miaohuan gasped in surprise upon hearing this, subconsciously thinking that Lu Changxing was considering asking Lu Yuanding for her hand in marriage. A wave of shyness overcame her, leaving her mind completely blank. Her delicate face, fair as white jade, instantly turned a heated red. How would I know such a thing? Lu Miaohuan cried out, her cheeks burning with embarrassment as she shouted loudly. Then she quickly stood up and left, stirring up a fragrant breeze. Is she that easily embarrassed? Lu Changxing watched as Lu Miaohuan, graceful and flustered, hurried away, shaking his head with a smile. He found that teasing the second miss was quite amusing, especially since she often appeared cold and noble, but in reality was quite susceptible to teasing. Just a little teasing would make her shy and flushed. Far too interesting. But his words weren't entirely for the sake of teasing Lu Miaohuan. He indeed had this thought. But not about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaohuan. Rather, it was about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan together. After all, his relationships with both sisters had reached this point, so it was time to clarify things. Quietly seated by his side, Lu Miaoge was also slightly startled when Lu Changxing asked that question, and she lightly pursed her lips. After seeing her sister blush and flee, she sighed softly. Then, with a serene expression and a gentle tone, she said, I'm going to check on Huan Huan. Sister Miaoga, Lu Changxing called out to Lu Miaoga. What is it? Lu Miaoga turned to look at Lu Changxing, her expression calm. But her eyes, deep as autumn waters, revealed a hint of panic. Sister Miaoga, if I ask the family head for an engagement, would you be willing to marry me? Lu Changxing asked her through a transmission. He felt that Lu Miaoga's mindset was such that she would struggle to get over her own reservations. Especially since the relationship he had with Lu Miaohuan would likely increase the tension for Lu Miaoga. So Lu Changxing thought that he needed to be more proactive with Lu Miaoga. It's okay, Sister Miaoga, you can give me an answer later. Seeing that Lu Miaoga was pursing her lips without speaking, Lu Changxing didn't press her and said so. He knew such matters couldn't be rushed. He needed to give the other person some time to think it over. Then Lu Miaoga nodded slightly, giving a simple acknowledgement, and left with a heart in turmoil. Husband, when you ask Uncle Yuanding for an engagement, is it to propose to Sister Miaohuan or Sister Miaoga? Or do you intend to marry both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan together? Lu Miaoyan asked, pouting towards Lu Changxing with a hint of jealousy in her teasing voice. Lu Changxing felt a bit awkward being teased by his wife, and he unconsciously touched his nose. After all, there he was, flirting with other women while his wife was by his side. And those women were his wife's sisters. Even though Lu Miaoyan had previously brought up the topic, it was still somewhat embarrassing for him. I think Sister Miaohuan has long harbored deep feelings for you, my husband. If you ask Uncle Yuanding for her hand in marriage, I'm sure he'd agree, she said. But if you, my husband, ask Uncle Yuanding for an engagement, intending to marry both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan at the same time, that might be a bit difficult. Chapter 242, Foundation Establishment, Sorted. Lu Miaoyan looked at her husband in this state, and tilted her head adorably as she said, Yuner feels wronged. Lu Changxing didn't care about his wife's jesting and gently embraced her, whispering softly, Husband. Lu Miaoyan hugged Lu Changxing, resting her head against his chest. She indeed had come to terms with Lu Changxing taking more wives and concubines. But to say she felt no grievance at all was certainly impossible. Or rather, when Lu Changxing had only bought some maids, she didn't mind. But if Lu Changxing truly married Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan, it was certain that neither woman would become a concubine. Under such circumstances, she would inevitably feel somewhat jealous as his wife. If husband really wishes to marry Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan, he could ask the family ancestor to grant the marriages, Lu Miaoyun said softly as she snuggled against Lu Changxing's chest. Though she felt a little jealous, considering that even a foundation-building great cultivator behaved that way towards her husband, who knew whether her husband would marry other women in the future. Rather than that, it was better for her husband to marry her sisters instead. At least they were family, well-acquainted, and capable of living together harmoniously. Yuna. Lu Changxing was even more remorseful hearing his dear wife giving him advice at this time. He made up his mind that he must properly compensate Lu Miaoyun in the future. Night fell. Changxing Yuna, come back with me. The busy fourth elder and two family elders prepared to steer the flying boat, taking some of the disciples and the wounded back to Qingzhou Mountain first. Hearing this, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun promptly boarded the flying boat, returning with the fourth elder. After all, there was nothing left for them to do in Red Leaf Valley. It was better to return and rest sooner. Grandmother, are those two foundation establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain Yu family and Wugong Ridge Xing family? Once the flying boat set off, Lu Changxing asked the fourth elder. Although he had already guessed that the two foundation establishment cultivators were from the Yu and Zheng families, he still wanted to confirm it with the fourth elder, to understand the current situation. Yes, those two foundation establishment cultivators are indeed Bai Lake Mountain Yu family's foundation establishment ancestor and the Zheng family ancestor from Wugong Ridge. The fourth elder nodded and said, The Yu family has wolfish ambitions. We had already noticed the Yu family's interference during the disputes between the Lu and Chen families. Now it seems, many incidents from back then cannot be separated from the Yu family. Changxing, we were fortunate to have you this time, prompting Elder Meng to help us out. Otherwise, we would have truly let the Yu family profit from our misfortune, the fourth elder continued, with a tone mix of indignation and relief. She was very clear. If it hadn't been for Meng Xiaoquan's intervention, allowing the Lu and Bai families to quickly break the Great Formation, and the two family ancestors only suffering injuries, today they would have most certainly fallen victim to the Yu family's ploy. The Yu family, Lu Changxing muttered, nodding slightly. He thought of the time when the third young master of the Yu family had tried to recruit him, and the incident where Lu Miaoge was attacked by 4 robber cultivators, as well as his and the second elder's encounter with an ambush on the way back. At that time, he had obtained a Yu family token from the 3 robber cultivators and felt that the attackers were sent by the Yu family, yet he was not certain. Now, hearing the words of the fourth elder, he knew in all likelihood it was the Yu family's doing, aimed at weakening the Lu family's power, as well as deepening the animosity and friction between the Lu and Chen families so they could profit from it. Grandmother, what's the situation now? Lu Changxing continued to ask. The Yu family, though tyrannical and overbearing, does not wish to completely fall out with our Lu and Bai families and come to blows. But this matter won't just end peacefully. The current situation involves our Lu and Bai families conceding some interest to the Yu family. As for the specifics, grandmother is not clear. We must wait for the family ancestor to make a decision, the fourth elder explained. Hearing this, Lu Changxing nodded in understanding. He realized that's how the matter was settled. What followed would be the division of interests. While the Lu family has 2 foundation establishment cultivators, our overall strength is far inferior to that of the Yu family. Now the Lu family ancestor doesn't have much time left, but the Yu family's 2 foundation establishment cultivators have quite a few years ahead of them. Previously, the third young master of the Yu family mentioned that within 10 years, the Yu family would have a 3rd foundation establishment cultivator, if they really do produce a 3rd foundation establishment cultivator. I'm afraid the Lu, Bai, and Zheng families would have to form an alliance. Lu Changxing couldn't help but think to himself. He felt if the Yu family truly produced a 3rd foundation establishment cultivator, there would likely be no peace, and it wouldn't be so easy for him to lie low as he wished. I still need to achieve foundation establishment sooner to truly gain a foothold. If the Yu family really causes trouble later on and affects my development, I might as well use the Book of Malevolent Curses and Fates against them, Lu Changxing pondered. Changxing, can you still contact that Elder Meng? At that moment, the fourth elder asked Lu Changxing. Grandmother, I did not keep a contact method with Miss Xiaochan. Lu Changxing shook his head slightly, understanding that probably the fourth elder wanted him to invite Meng Xiaochan to stand by and deter others, giving the Lu family more confidence and weight in the upcoming hearings and profit distribution. But he truly didn't have any way to contact Meng Xiaochan. No matter, grandmother was just asking. The fourth elder responded with a slight nod, without further comment. She could tell there was something unusual about the relationship between Lu Changxing and that foundation establishment great cultivator. It was only because of the current situation of the Lu family that she had asked, hoping that through Meng Xiaochan, a foundation establishment great cultivator, the Lu family could alleviate some of the pressure. After all, the upcoming division of interests was simply a matter of strength. Under the full-speed flight of the spirit boat. Chapter 243, Foundation Establishment, Sorted. 8 hours later, they returned to Qingzhou Mountain. Under the pitch-dark night, the entire Qingzhou Mountain emitted a faint spiritual light. It looked like it was draped in a layer of green gauze, solemn and mystical. Lu Changxing could tell that this effect was due to the activation of Qingzhou Mountain's Great Formation to a certain extent. Keeping the Great Formation active must have consumed a considerable amount of energy. The clan elders guarding Qingzhou Mountain saw that it was fourth elder and the others, and they immediately opened part of the formation to inquire about the frontline situation. Upon learning that the Lu family and Bai family had successfully taken Red Leaf Valley, they were overjoyed and welcomed everyone inside. Changxing Miaoyun, you have also worked hard all day. Go back and rest early. After entering Qingzhou Valley, fourth elder said to Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun. She still needed to arrange treatment for the wounded with the other elders. This battle had resulted in quite a few of the Lu family disciples sustaining injuries that required treatment. Grandma, you should rest early too. Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun nodded in agreement. They immediately went back to rest. There were still lights on in the house. Chu Zhenjin and a few maidservants had not yet rested, obviously worried about them. Seeing Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun return, they immediately felt relieved. It's all right now, go to sleep early. Lu Changxing wrapped his arms around his beloved wives and returned to their room to rest. He did not overexert himself. After such a busy day, although he was not tired, Miaoyun clearly seemed exhausted. The next day, Lu Changxing woke up and, after showing affection to his wives, proceeded to the study. He took out the storage bag that Meng Xiaochan had given him the day before. He checked to see what was inside. In an instant, a pile of spirit stones appeared in the room. Lu Changxing counted them, and there were a total of 2,000. He then turned his attention to the white jade porcelain vase and the white jade brocade box in the storage bag. It was clear that these jade porcelain vases and brocade boxes were used to hold more valuable elixir medicines and treasures. Out of caution, Lu Changxing took out his second-rank puppet. Then he stood aside, letting the puppet open the porcelain vase and the jade box. Seeing the vase and the box open safely without incident, Lu Changxing knew he had been overthinking. Is this blood spirit Ganoderma? Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed slightly. He immediately saw in the jade box a Ganoderma the size of a baby's arm, enveloped in a mist of red, a blood-colored Ganoderma. He recognized the Ganoderma immediately. Having read widely, he knew that this Ganoderma, like the blood sun fruit he had acquired from Xia Long, was a Foundation establishment spirit object. It was helpful for challenging the blood and energy barrier among the 3 barriers of Foundation establishment. Is this because I had previously obtained from her Foundation establishment spirit objects for the mana barrier and the divine sense barrier, but lacked one for the blood and energy barrier, so she specifically brought this to me? Lu Changxing looked at the blood spirit Ganoderma in front of him, somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected the other party to actually bring him a Foundation establishment spirit object. Although he already had a spirit object for breaking through the blood and energy barrier, and during Foundation establishment, one could only use one of each type of Foundation establishment spirit object at most, nobody would complain about having too many such objects. Not to mention keeping it for his children's use, selling it could at least fetch 3,000 spirit stones. Seeing the blood spirit Ganoderma, Lu Changxing was more anticipative of the contents within the 2 porcelain vases. He closed the jade box and looked inside the porcelain vases. What's this? Lu Changxing looked at the elixir medicines in the porcelain vase, his pupils contracting sharply, hardly able to believe it. He then poured the crystal-clear elixir medicines from the vase into his hand to examine them carefully. A moment later, it really is a Foundation establishment elixir, and there are 2 of them. Lu Changxing, looking at the 2 elixir medicines in his hand, took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. For a time, he didn't know what to say. He had been wondering where he would find a Foundation establishment elixir for his own breakthrough. But unexpectedly, Meng Xiaochan had directly delivered them to him now. And she had given him not 1, but 2. This Foundation establishment elixir has a dark color. It looks to be a substandard product that would result in some elixir toxicity and have a somewhat lower efficacy. But this one is a genuine, high-quality Foundation establishment elixir. Lu Changxing looked at the 2 Foundation establishment elixirs in his hand and again did not know what to say. Initially, he had held some grudges against Meng Xiaochan in his heart, thinking that he would seek revenge when they met in the future. But now, seeing these 2 Foundation establishment elixirs, Lu Changxing felt that the animosity between them could be considered settled. With these 2 Foundation establishment elixirs, I don't have to worry about finding one anymore. There is no need to devise a way to acquire them. Next, I just need to stay safe and cultivate until I reach the perfection of qi refinement, then I can directly attack Foundation establishment. Lu Changsheng felt excited in his heart. He had originally felt that he had a 50 to 60% chance of successfully reaching Foundation establishment. Now that his spiritual root had improved to middle grade, and he had Foundation establishment elixirs to assist him, Lu Changsheng felt confident his Foundation establishment was in the bag. However, where did she get these Foundation establishment elixirs from? To be able to give away 2 at once? No, she has also achieved Foundation establishment, which means she had at least 3 Foundation establishment elixirs. At that moment, Lu Changsheng was somewhat astonished by Meng Xiaoquan's wealth. She seemed like a truly rich woman. The first time they met, he had obtained 2 Foundation establishment spirit objects from her. The second time they met, he received a goo insect, and Meng Xiaochan fell in love with him. Now on their third encounter, she had brought him gifts. Not just 2,000 spirit stones, 1 Foundation establishment spirit object, but also 2 Foundation establishment elixirs. If Foundation establishment spirit objects can be considered rare treasures, then Foundation establishment elixirs are priceless commodities. Even the inferior Foundation establishment elixir among the 2 could fetch tens of thousands of spirit stones if sold, desired by countless people. 3 Foundation establishment elixirs just like that. Could it be that she acquired the materials to refine them in the Purple Shadow secret realm? Lu Changsheng speculated in his heart. After all, besides the Purple Shadow secret realm, a loose cultivator hardly has any means to obtain Foundation establishment elixirs. Considering Meng Xiaoquan's capabilities, it would be normal for her to make some gains in the Purple Shadow secret realm. Still, before Foundation establishment, I must not reveal this substandard Foundation establishment elixir, or it'll surely attract unwanted attention. Lu Changsheng placed the 2 Foundation establishment elixirs back in the porcelain vase and stored them in his storage bag. He resolved not to expose the Foundation establishment elixirs until he made his breakthrough to Foundation establishment. It's difficult for a loose cultivator to obtain a Foundation establishment elixir, one reason being they're rarely seen. Moreover, even if a Foundation establishment elixir appeared at a large auction, you would need the strength to keep it. After all, such elixirs aren't just needed by chi refinement cultivators. Many factions and Foundation establishment great cultivators also require Foundation establishment elixirs to nurture their juniors. Hence the pricelessness of Foundation establishment elixirs, each appearance sparking a violent and bloody frenzy. Receiving a Foundation establishment elixir so effortlessly, and from a girl at that, does this count as being kept by a rich lady? Lu Changsheng thought about the Foundation establishment elixir had been obsessing over, which had come into his hands so easily, and he felt like it was a dream. He remembered the jade pendant given to him by a nascent soul Immortal. As long as he achieved Foundation establishment, she would offer him an opportunity. Sigh, I really didn't intend to live off a woman. Lu Changsheng sighed softly, feeling that if things continued this way, he really would end up being supported by a woman. Chapter 244, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. _ 3 days later. Lu family ancestor led a group of Lu family cultivators back to Qingzhou Mountain, signifying that the matter in Red Leaf Valley had come to an end. Lu Miaohuan and her sisters returned along with Lu Yuanding. Sister, do you think Lu Changsheng will really come to propose? After returning home, Lu Miaohuan shyly asked her sister Lu Miaoga. These past few days, she had constantly been pondering the words Lu Changsheng said before, wondering if Lu Changsheng's talk of proposing was real or just a joke. It had left her feeling anxious these past days. As long as you nod to show your willingness, maybe Lu Changsheng will come to propose today. Lu Miaoga, watching her sister's shy appearance, smiled gently and said softly, knowing that her sister had deep feelings for Lu Changsheng. If it weren't for the restraint and shyness of being a woman, she would have probably agreed already. Thinking this, she sighed softly in her heart. Not just Lu Miaohuan. She, too, felt unsettled these past days. Lu Changsheng's words continuously echoed in her mind. She wondered, if Lu Changxing really came to propose, would she agree? After 3 days of deliberation, Lu Miaoge had roughly come to a conclusion. Should it really come to that, and if Lu Changxing indeed came to propose, she would still agree and not refuse. But even having reached such a conclusion, she still couldn't get over her emotional hurdle. Unsure of how to face Lu Changxing, how to answer his question. Can't he see whether I'm willing or not? Does he still need to ask me? Could it be that I should take the initiative to speak up? Lu Miaohuan's tempting red lips pursed, and she said somewhat bashfully. She felt that such matters shouldn't require her to take the initiative to tell Lu Changxing that she was willing and for him to come to propose. That would be too embarrassing. Moreover, this is something that Lu Changxing should take the initiative to do. Then she herself, upon her father's inquiry, should state that the matter of marriage is her father's decision, and she would abide by her father's arrangement. I just happen to have something to discuss with Lu Changxing. Since that's the case, how about I probe a little for you, drop a hint to him? Lu Miaoge, seeing her sister act this way, could not help but speak up. Although she now felt a bit scared to see Lu Changxing, fearing what Lu Changxing might ask her in return. But as the saying goes, an elder sister is akin to a mother. For the sake of her sister's happiness, she still chose to have a talk with Lu Changxing. Lu Miaohuan lightly hummed a response, her voice as faint as a mosquito's. If it were before, her pride would never allow her sister to take the initiative in giving hints. She would wait for Lu Changxing to propose of his own accord. But having initially thought Lu Changxing had died, she had a change of heart. She had let go of her pride when it came to Lu Changxing. At the same time, Lu Miaoyun was also at home pondering the matter of her husband and her cousins, Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan, thinking of how to facilitate the marriage proposal. After all, she could see that her husband indeed had feelings for her 2 cousins. In such a situation as a wife, it is natural to share her husband's worries and difficulties. Of course, she also had her own selfish reasons. Meng Xiaoquan's appearance had inevitably made Lu Miaoyun feel a sense of crisis. She wanted to do something for her husband. Moreover, she hoped that after her husband married Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan, he would concentrate on cultivation, focus on the talisman path, and stop spending too much attention on other women. Although I suggested to my husband that the elder could give a marital blessing, I'm certain he will not do so. He will definitely seek the consent of Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan before proposing, Lu Miaoyun thought to herself. Having lived with her husband for so many years, she knew his nature well. She knew that in such matters he would definitely respect the other party's wishes and seek their consent. He would not rashly propose nor let the elder grant the marriage without the other party's agreement. It's clear that Miaohuan likes my husband, and if he proposed, she would surely agree. But as for Sister Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun continued her contemplation. She delved deep into thought about her cousin's situation. And she didn't know how to describe the relationship between her husband and Lu Miaoge. I remember that Sister Miaoge used to interact with my husband not as they do now, right? This reflection suddenly made Lu Miaoyun feel that the relationship between Lu Miaoge and her husband had become somewhat strange. But she couldn't quite put her finger on what was strange. It seemed that they were still close, yet they both appeared somewhat constrained. Especially Lu Miaoge. I recall that in the past, Sister Miaoge used to treat my husband much like she did our younger brothers and sisters, very naturally. But now, Sister Miaoge seems different around my husband, lacking that easygoing vibe. That's right, it's that naturalness that's missing. Although they seem to still be close, Miaoge hardly speaks to my husband recently, as if she is somewhat avoiding him. Lu Miaoyun continued to ponder, recalling the circumstances between her husband and Lu Miaoge. No, it's not just when facing my husband. It seems Sister Miaoge is also a bit unnatural around me. It was right after Sister Miaoge returned injured, things seemed off. Lu Miaoyun thought carefully, realizing that something had been amiss with Lu Miaoge for about half a year, but she hadn't given it much thought at the time and had not paid much attention. Now, on reflection, she immediately sensed that there was a problem. She felt that something must have happened between her husband and Lu Miaoge at that time, which was why Lu Miaoge was acting this way. During that time, Sister Miaoga had a close brush with death at the hands of a robber's cultivator, barely clinging to life, and it was my husband who rescued Sister Miaoga. Something must have happened during that, and that's why Sister Miaoga is behaving like this. Chapter 245. Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. What is it? Lu Miaoyun pondered incessantly in her heart. Suddenly, a thought struck her. Could it be? How is that possible? Lu Miaoyun was also startled by her own guess. But apart from that reason, she could think of no other at the moment. And the more she thought about it, the more she felt that it was indeed the reason. If that's really the case, Sister Miaoga would surely be willing to marry my husband, right? Lu Miaoyun's elegant brows furrowed slightly, somewhat puzzled. That's right, Sister Miaoga has always been aloof, non-competitive, and extremely caring towards us. Even if Sister Miaoga truly has feelings for my husband, under such circumstances, she probably feels guilty towards me and unwilling to marry my husband. Moreover, Sister Miaohan also harbors feelings for my husband. The idea of sisters marrying the same man must be somewhat unacceptable to Sister Miaoga. In addition, Sister Miaoga is wholly devoted to cultivation and has no intention of marrying. If she were to marry my husband, she would inevitably think about having children, which would cause her some worry. Lu Miaoyun speculated and inferred non-stop in her heart, based on her understanding of Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoga. She felt that she had guessed the heart of the issue. If that is the case, I need to talk to Sister Miaoga about it. Lu Miaoyun thought, preparing to seek out Lu Miaoga for a talk. To see if it was as she had guessed. Just as she stepped out the door, she saw a strikingly beautiful woman standing outside, with long flowing hair, dressed in white surpassing the snow, and exuding an ethereal and refined aura. Sister Miaoga? Lu Miaoyun was surprised to see Lu Miaoga outside the door. She hadn't expected to just be preparing to look for Lu Miaoga when the latter was already at her doorstep. Miaoyun. Lu Miaoga hadn't expected Lu Miaoyun to suddenly come out of the door. She had come to speak with Lu Changxing about her sister's matter. But upon reaching the door, she hesitated for a while, unsure of how to face Lu Changxing. Fearing how to respond should Lu Changxing ask, "Sister Miaoga, are you here to see my husband? I also happen to have something to discuss with you." Lu Miaoyun said with a smile on her face. "You have something to discuss with me?" Lu Miaoga was taken aback, somewhat surprised, wondering what Lu Miaoyun wanted from her. Then, Lu Miaoyun invited Lu Miaoga into her room. "Sister Miaoga, do you have something you need from my husband?" Lu Miaoyun asked. "No, nothing in particular." Lu Miaoga shook her head. In front of Lu Miaoyun, she really didn't want to admit she had come to talk about a match for her sister. "Miaoyun, what was it you said you needed to discuss with me just now?" Lu Miaoga gently smoothed her hair and asked. "Sister Miaoga, what do you think of my husband?" Lu Miaoyun tilted her head and asked. "What do you mean by how is he?" Lu Miaoga was slightly startled. Lu Miaoyun didn't understand the meaning of her words. "Just your impression of your husband, Sister Miaoga, in all aspects as a person, I mean." Lu Miaoyun directly sat next to Lu Miaoga, wrapped her arm around hers, and said with a smile brimming in her eyes. Because Lu Miaoga had been learning talismans from the fourth elder, she got along very well with Lu Miaoga. Changxing is good in all aspects as a person. Lu Miaoga didn't know why Lu Miaoyun was asking this and spoke softly. Her impression of Lu Changxing was indeed favorable. In terms of looks, abilities, and character, he was truly outstanding. Of course, his faults were also very clear. As a cultivator, he was too indulged in the company of women. If Lu Changxing could focus on his cultivation and hold the great Tao in his heart, her opinion of him would be even higher. "It seems that your husband has made a good impression on you, Sister Miaoga. So, Sister Miaoga, would you be willing to marry your husband?" Lu Miaoyun asked jokingly. When Lu Miaoga heard this, her heart suddenly stirred. She had not expected Lu Miaoyun to say such a thing. She spoke softly, "Miaoyun, don't joke about this." "Sister Miaoga, I'm not joking." Lu Miaoyun looked at her usually calm and gentle clan sister, now showing such a demeanor. She became more certain that something had definitely happened between Lu Miaoge and her own husband. It was likely just as she had guessed. Sister Miaoge, I can see that my husband likes you very much. And you, Sister Miaoge, you also have some feelings for my husband in your heart. Lu Miaoyun continued. Miaoyun. When Lu Miaoge heard this, she pursed her lips, signaling her to stop talking. Sister Miaoge, if I'm not mistaken, something must have happened between you and my husband, right? You seem to have a bit of an avoidance complex when facing me and when facing my husband. Sister Miaoge, are you worried about something because of me? If it's because of what I've said, I think you don't need to care, because I don't mind it. Lu Miaoyun looked at Lu Miaoge and said it outright. Miaoyun, Lu Miaoge had never expected that Lu Miaoyun would guess the matter between her and Lu Changxing, and that she would say it so candidly. It left her at a loss for words. Sister Miaoge, apart from me, do you have other concerns? If it's about Sister Miaohuan, I believe she wouldn't mind either. Is it about cultivation? I know, Sister Miaoge, you are devoted to cultivation, but marrying my husband wouldn't affect your practice. In fact, seeing that you and my husband already have feelings for each other, instead of letting these emotions hinder your practice, it would be better to become Dao companions and cultivate together. If you are worried about childbirth, my husband will not force anyone on this matter. If you don't want to have children, you can just tell him directly. Seeing Lu Miaoge like this, Lu Miaoyun knew she must have guessed correctly and said everything all at once. Lu Miaoge pursed her lips and found herself unable to speak. Chapter 246, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. She never expected that her affair with Lu Changxing, as well as the turmoil in her heart, would all be laid bare by Lu Miaoyun. Sister Miaoge, if I said that I wasn't a bit disappointed with our husband's philandering ways, it would certainly be a lie. But our husband really treats us well and doesn't play favorites, so you can rest assured. And you've also seen what happened before with our husband and that foundation establishment great cultivator. I think such incidents may occur again in the future, and although I can't stop our husband, I just want to avoid it as much as possible. So, I also have my own selfish desires, hoping that Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan would marry our husband to lessen his dalliances outside. Lu Miaoyun continued to speak with a tone of sincerity. Lu Miaoge pressed her lips together and remained silent. She also thought about Meng Xiaoquan's matter. In her heart, she knew that Lu Changxing possessed a fateful secret. Under such circumstances, if Lu Changxing could focus on his cultivation and concentrate on the talisman path, maybe he really could achieve foundation establishment. She had always hoped that Lu Changxing would devote himself to cultivation, not always to be so indulgent in the pleasures of women. Lu Miaoyun, seeing the look on Lu Miaoge's face, discerned that her heart was already wavering, caught in a dilemma. Seizing the moment, she pressed on, Sister Miaoge, if you still have concerns, you be the senior, and I'll be the junior. Miaoyun, don't be like this. Lu Miaoge was already feeling somewhat flustered by Lu Miaoyun's words. This statement completely dumbfounded her. She hadn't expected Lu Miaoyun to make such a sacrifice. Does this mean you agree, Sister Miaoge? Seeing Lu Miaoge like this, Lu Miaoyun asked with a mischievous smile. Lu Miaoge wanted to say that she had not agreed at all. But Lu Miaoyun had gone so far, and she felt that she had no reason to refuse. Indeed, as Lu Miaoyun had said, she already had feelings for Lu Changxing, and it was impossible to cut ties with him. Avoiding it wasn't a solution either. It might be better to marry Lu Changxing and cultivate together. She could also encourage Lu Changxing to be diligent in his cultivation. Moreover, she also knew that if she did not accept, Lu Changxing would not easily give up. Furthermore, she had previously thought to herself that if Lu Changxing really did come to propose marriage, she would agree and not refuse. Immediately after, Lu Miaoge lowered her eyes and nodded gently. That's wonderful. Seeing Lu Miaoge nod, Lu Miaoyun's eyes curved into crescent moons with joy. She then asked, by the way, Sister Miaoge, now you can say what brought you here, right? She didn't believe Lu Miaoge had come without reason. His thoughts had always been on Lu Miaoge, wondering how to unravel her emotional knots. He hadn't expected his sweet little wife to solve the problem. Yes, Sister Miaoge has agreed. So, husband, how do you plan to reward me? Lu Miaoyun pouted and said in a soft voice. What reward do you want, Yuna? Lu Changxing, seeing his sweet little wife's demeanor, instantly scooped her up to sit on his lap, his hands wandering. Husband, Lu Miaoyun's beautiful eyes half closed, her gaze flowing, she bit her lower lip and breathed somewhat rapidly. She then leaned weakly against the desk. As a thoughtful and considerate man, Lu Changxing also tenderly held his delicate wife's waist. At that moment, spring was abundant in the study. 2 days later, the Lu family ancestor came to find Lu Changxing, expressing that thanks to him, their attack on Red Leaf Valley had been a success. Therefore, as a reward for his contributions, they granted him 100 acres of spirit farmland. Additionally, it was announced that before long, Red Leaf Valley would be jointly managed by the Lu family, Yu family, Bai family, and Zheng family, and it would be established as a cultivation marketplace. At that time, the Lu family would allocate a shop and a cave dwelling for Lu Changxing in Red Leaf Marketplace. Thank you, ancestor. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing bowed his thanks. This reward was indeed generous. Firstly, the 100 acres of spirit farmland from Qingzhou Mountain would bring Lu Changxing a considerate and stable income. Once the Red Leaf Valley Marketplace was established, as long as it got bustling, a shop would become a money tree. So this one shop and one cave dwelling were effectively 2 money trees. Lu Changxing knew in his heart that he could obtain such a rich reward entirely because of Meng Xiaochan. Otherwise, with how he and Lu Miaoyun had been previously getting by, participating just for the sake of it, being rewarded with 100 or so spirit stones would have been considered a large reward. How could such an abundant reward be possible? Like the spirit farmland of Qingzhou Mountain, it was managed by the Lu family elders, who let the spirit farmers take care of it. Now, however, they had given out 100 acres as a reward to him. Lu Changxing guessed this was also the Lu family's way of adding another layer of ties to him. Hee, our Lu family never treats its own members poorly. This is what you deserve. Changxing, if you have any other requests, feel free to mention them. The Lu family ancestor said cheerfully. Chapter 247. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan? Understand, ancestor, I have no other requests. I just need to trouble you with one matter. Lu Changxing paused slightly after hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor and spoke with a respectful bow. A couple of days ago, after Lu Miaoyun had told him that her sister, Lu Miaoge, consented to marry him, he planned to go to Lu Yuanding to propose. To take both sisters as his wives. But when he was about to propose formally, Lu Changxing felt stuck. He somewhat didn't know how to broach the subject. After all, whoever proposes marriage by asking for 2 daughters of a family at once? Even though Lu Changxing's face had thickened quite a bit, he truly did not know how to start the conversation with Lu Yuanding. In the end, he decided, just as his wife Lu Miaoyun suggested, to ask the Lu family ancestor to bestow the marriage. He and Lu Miaoge, as well as Lu Miaohuan, were mutually fond of each other. So having the Lu family ancestor play matchmaker was quite in line with reason. It would not involve anything forceful. Oh, you need my help? The Lu family ancestor was mildly surprised to hear that Lu Changxing needed assistance from him. He then said directly, what is it? Speak freely. I am fond of the family head's daughter and would like to ask the ancestor to play matchmaker for me, Lu Changxing said with respect. Fond of Yuanding's daughter? The Lu family ancestor smiled upon hearing this. He thought it was some major issue. He did not expect it to concern the affairs of young men and women. But knowing about Lu Changxing's preference for marrying and having children, he felt reassured. He cheerfully said, since there is mutual affection between you two, I will take on the task and play matchmaker for your marriage. But I recall that Yuanding has 2 daughters. With which one are you mutually fond? Could it be Miaoge? The Lu family ancestor asked thus. He did not meddle in family affairs, but he was very clear about many things within the family. He knew of Lu Yuanding's 2 daughters, especially Lu Miaoge, who was not only talented in cultivation but also a high-quality talisman master. Lu Changsheng's manner made him guess that Lu Changsheng wanted to marry Lu Miaoge. Ancestor, I am mutually fond with both daughters of the family head, Lu Changsheng said somewhat sheepishly. What, you are mutually fond of both of Yuanding's daughters? The Lu family ancestor was taken aback upon hearing this. He did not expect Lu Changsheng's request for matchmaking involved not 1, but 2. To marry away both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. He instantly understood. No wonder Lu Changsheng requested his help to play matchmaker instead of proposing himself. If Lu Changsheng personally went to propose, declaring he wanted to marry both of Lu Yuanding's daughters, not to mention being kicked out, but for sure Lu Yuanding would not give him a good expression. Fine, since there is mutual affection, I will play matchmaker for you. The Lu family ancestor didn't say much more and simply agreed. Setting aside that Lu Changsheng spoke of mutual affection, even if there had been no mutual affection, so long as Lu Changsheng asked and his descendants did not oppose him, he would be willing to match them with Lu Changsheng, a man of great destiny. After all, Lu Changsheng was also one of the Lu family's own. Marrying several Lu family women was of no concern. It wouldn't only prevent talent from leaving the family, but it would also bind Lu Changsheng even closer to the Lu family and integrate him further into the family. Many thanks, ancestor. Seeing the Lu family ancestor agree so readily, Lu Changsheng also breathed a sigh of relief and bowed immediately in thanks. No need for such formality. Do you have any other matters? Don't be shy, you may bring them up, the Lu family ancestor said to Lu Changsheng with a cheerful smile. Ancestor, I have no other matters, Lu Changsheng responded respectfully. All right, since there are no other matters, then I will go and speak on your behalf. As for whether it will be successful, I cannot guarantee. Of course, if, as you say, there is mutual affection, there should not be any problem, the Lu family ancestor said. He would not make such promises outright and guarantee success. I understand, thank you for the trouble, ancestor, Lu Changsheng said as he bowed. He had asked about Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan. It was just that he simply didn't dare to face Lu Yuanding, his future father-in-law. Afterward, the Lu family ancestor did not stay long and said a few words before departing. Lu Changsheng saw him off with great respect. Husband, did you mention the matter of Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan to the ancestor just now? After Lu Changsheng had seen off the Lu family ancestor, Lu Miaoyun stepped forward and asked. She had already thought it through. If Lu Changsheng truly couldn't broach the subject, she would trouble the 4th elder, to have the 4th elder speak on behalf of Lu Changsheng. The ancestor has already agreed. Lu Changsheng nodded and did not hide it. He also shared the reward the Lu family ancestor had given him. 100 mu of spirit farmland, a shop and a cave dwelling in Red Leaf Valley Market. Lu Miaoyun was startled upon hearing about the reward, her mouth slightly agape in surprise. Because the reward was quite substantial. 100 mu of spirit farmland, even if used to grow the most ordinary spirit rice, after deducting for seeds, fertilizers, and the like, leaving everything else to spirit farmers to manage, would yield over 1,000 spirit stones a year. 1,000 spirit stones a year was no small income wherever one might be. Even for the current Lu Changsheng, it represented a significant income, which would also greatly lighten his burden in raising children. And once Red Leaf Valley Market was established and bustling, the shop and cave dwelling would also bring in a handsome income each year. So it was not an exaggeration to say that the Lu family ancestors' reward was generous. However, Lu Changsheng only realized the specific value of the 100 mu of spirit farmland after hearing Lu Miaoyun's explanation, because he had not cultivated spirit land before. He was not aware of the concept behind 100 mu of spirit farmland. Does this mean from now on, I could also live off collecting rent? Chapter 248. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan Huan? Lu Changsheng chuckled lightly. 100 acres of spirit field and a shop, a cave dwelling, just by collecting rent, can allow 90% of cultivators to live a comfortable life. He also roughly understood why property could occupy one of the spots in the spell of wealth and partners. Many loose cultivators dream of owning a piece of spirit land. Not just because they need spirit land for cultivation, but also because owning a piece of spirit land means having the means of production and endless income. No need to wander around for a living anymore. When this spirit field reward is granted, it'll trouble you to take care of it. Lu Changxing said to Lu Miaoyun. He had to cultivate, make talismans, and spend time with his wives and children every day, and he simply had no time to worry about too many things. Matters like the spirit field and other internal affairs were naturally entrusted to his wives to manage. And he was very confident in Lu Miaoyun. Husband, rest assured, you focus on cultivation. Let your concubine handle such matters. Upon hearing Lu Changxing entrust her with the 100 acres of spirit field, Lu Miaoyun felt trusted and sweetly agreed. Although she didn't know much about farming, she knew that the Lu family had a mature system in this area. She didn't need to manage anything personally. All she needed to do was oversee it occasionally and wait to collect the money. After leaving Lu Changxing, the Lu family ancestor went straight to Lu Yuanding's place. Ancestor, what brings you here? Upon learning of the ancestor's visit, Lu Yuanding didn't dare to delay and rushed over immediately. Compared to Lu Changsheng's respect, everyone in the Lu family revered the ancestor from the bottom of their hearts. Lu Changxing has asked me to be his matchmaker, so the ancestor has come to propose a marriage on behalf of Lu Changxing, said the Lu family ancestor. Regarding his own descendants, the Lu family ancestor was straightforward. Ancestor must be speaking of Changxing and Huaner, right? I was also thinking of speaking with Lu Changxing about this matter, but I never expected that the ancestor would come personally. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuanding immediately showed a smile. He had planned to deal with his daughter Lu Miaohuan's affairs after finishing his hectic schedule in the coming days. After all, he had seen his daughter's feelings for Lu Changxing with his own eyes. He had even caught them in an intimate moment last time. He thought it was time to settle the matter. Despite Lu Changxing having many wives and being quite amorous, which displeased him, he feared his daughter would suffer if she married into such a situation. But putting that aside, he was quite satisfied with Lu Changxing in other respects. Moreover, since his own daughter liked Lu Changxing, what else was there to say? Lu Yuanding had not expected that Lu Changxing would have the ancestor come to propose marriage personally. Far from being annoyed, he felt somewhat relieved. Because in his view, such an action showed Lu Changxing's affection and value for his daughter. Oh, it seems that what Lu Changxing said is also true. However, Lu Changxing has asked me to come here to say that both of your daughters are mutually in love with him, the Lu family ancestor said with a chuckle. What? Both? He asked the ancestor to come and propose, not only to Huaner but also to Sister Miaoga? Lu Yuanding, who had been showing a relieved smile, suddenly changed his expression upon hearing this. He was mentally prepared to marry his daughter Lu Miaohuan to Lu Changxing. But now, hearing that Lu Changxing wanted to marry his eldest daughter as well, it was difficult for him as a father to accept at the moment. Yes, it seems to be so. This youngster didn't have the face to come and propose in person, so he asked the old man to be the matchmaker, explained the Lu family ancestor, shaking his head slightly at Lu Yuanding's reaction. This sigh. After a moment of silence, Lu Yuanding let out a deep sigh. He knew Lu Changsheng's character well. Lu Changxing was not one to take advantage of others or bully by virtue of his position. If he asked the ancestor to come and propose marriage, it was probably because he had genuine feelings for his daughter Lu Miaoga. Even so, thinking about Lu Changxing wanting to take away both his daughters made him quite upset. His fists clenched involuntarily. When did Changxing and Miaoga start having feelings for each other? Lu Yuanding couldn't help thinking. He was so busy with his duties that he failed to notice that his eldest daughter had also become involved with Lu Changxing. But the next moment he immediately guessed that it must have been when Lu Miaoga and Lu Changxing were managing the spiritual talisman shop together at the Nine Dragons Market, and then she was misled by that youngster. Thinking this, Lu Yuanding's expression turned sullen, and he felt a wave of disappointment. Ancestor, I still want to ask about my Ayage's thoughts on this matter. Lu Yuanding said through gritted teeth. As for his younger daughter Lu Miaohuan, he felt there was nothing to ask about. Her heart was already with Lu Changxing. But for his eldest daughter Lu Miaoge, he thought he still wanted to ask. To see if his daughter truly liked Lu Changxing. If she really did, then it was fine. But if not, even if the ancestor came to propose, he, as a father, would stand up for his daughter. The ancestor would also like to know how this youngster managed to steal away the pearl of our Lu family. The Lu family ancestor nodded, saying with a chuckle. After a while, Lu Miaoge arrived in the hall. Dad? Did you call for me? Greetings to the ancestor. Seeing the Lu family ancestor drinking tea in the hall, she immediately greeted him respectfully. Miaoge, Lu Changxing says that you and he are mutually in love, and so he has asked me to come here to propose marriage. Is this true or false? The Lu family ancestor looked at Lu Miaoge and asked with a smile. Upon hearing these words, Lu Miaoge's lovely cheeks blushed ignitedly. After what Lu Miaoyun said the day before yesterday, she had been somewhat restless when she went home, thinking about the possibility of Lu Changxing coming to propose. She never expected that Lu Changxing would actually ask the ancestor to come and propose. Chapter 249. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan? Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Yuanding had wanted to ask some questions. But seeing his daughter like this, he suddenly felt there was nothing to question anymore. He knew that the relationship between his daughter and Lu Changxing was not just about mutual affection but was also extraordinary. Alright, if that's the case, 1 month from now is an auspicious day. Let's hold the wedding then. I will personally preside over the marriage and share in the joy with a toast. Seeing this, the Lu family ancestor also found his answer and didn't inquire further, immediately making the decision. He was also somewhat curious about what kind of capabilities Lu Changxing possessed. After all, he had won the affections of both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. It reminded him of how a foundation establishment great cultivator in Red Leaf Valley had fallen for Lu Changxing. This matter remained unfathomable to him even now. After all, it was utterly impossible to captivate so many female cultivators solely with one's appearance. There must be something exceptional about him in other aspects. But during his visit to Lu Changxing's residence, he could tell that Lu Changxing wasn't using any heretical methods. His aura was upright and serene, his wives and concubines radiant, with nothing amiss. Miaoge will follow the arrangements of the family ancestor and father. Lu Miaoge said softly with a shy bow of her head. At this moment, all the unease in her heart dissolved. All that remained was shyness and a hint of joy. Good, Yuanding, you arrange this. Just let me know when it's time, said the Lu family ancestor. Yes, family ancestor, Lu Yuanding responded helplessly with a cupped fist salute. After all, at this point, what more could he say? Afterward, the Lu family ancestor took his leave. Miaoge, when did you and Changxing begin? Lu Yuanding sighed slightly and asked his daughter after seeing off the family ancestor. He still felt somewhat unwilling to let go. He wanted to know when exactly Lu Changxing had stolen away his eldest daughter. It was when I encountered a robber cultivator, and Changxing saved me, Lu Miaoge said softly with her head bowed, not hiding anything from her father. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuanding felt somewhat relieved, and it eased his mind significantly. He knew that if not for Lu Changxing, his eldest daughter would have perished then. He then had a chat with his eldest daughter before going to inform his younger daughter. He told her that her marriage with Lu Changxing was settled and would take place in a month. Lu Miaohuan was initially shocked, not expecting the arrangement to be made so swiftly and feeling suddenly bashful. But learning that Lu Changxing was not only marrying her but also her sister, she was stunned for a moment. However, after Lu Yuanding's explanation, she silently pondered for a moment and then came to terms with it. She quickly accepted the situation. After all, she had already accepted Lu Changsheng's numerous wives and concubines, and naturally wouldn't mind her own sister. Before long, half a month passed. The news that Lu Changxing was about to wed the Lu family's eldest miss and the second miss spread across Qingzhou Mountain, stirring up much discussion. Damn, what the hell, Lu Changxing is getting married again, and to both Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan. Our Lu family's two beauties are being swept away by one man. How can you call it being swept away? This is clearly keeping the resources within our own field. Yeah, marrying Lu Changxing is still marrying within our Lu family, right? The family head actually agreed to this marriage? I heard that Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan are indeed in love with Brother Changxing, so the family head could only agree. SSS, truly worthy of being our Qingzhou Mountain's #1 romantic. Not only did he charm a foundation establishment great cultivator before, but now he's silently won over both Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan. In this regard, I respect no one but Lu Changxing. I'm not surprised that Lu Miaohuan is marrying Lu Changxing, but I didn't expect Sister Miaoge to marry him as well. Yeah, I thought Sister Miaoge would remain unmarried for life. I support this marriage. That's right, I also support it. If not for Lu Changxing, when we in the Bai family attacked Red Leaf Valley, we might have been outplayed by the Yu family. As the news of Lu Changxing's upcoming marriage to Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan circulated, Qingzhou Mountain buzzed with excitement, with many people discussing it. If it was just Lu Miaohuan getting married, people wouldn't have much to talk about. At most, they would remark in amazement that Lu Changxing was taking a wife again. But Lu Changxing was marrying both sisters at once. Especially Lu Miaoge, who not only had a great talent for cultivation and a good reputation but was also a top-quality talisman master. Many Lu family disciples thought Lu Miaoge would remain unmarried for life. Yet unexpectedly, Lu Miaoge was going to marry Lu Changxing. And she was marrying him along with her sister Lu Miaohuan. So this made everyone feel incredibly moved. But it was just a sentiment and discussion, without any real objection. After all, by now, Lu Changxing had thoroughly integrated into the Lu family. He had shared in their trials and tribulations, contributing to their victories, making him one of their own. The immortal seedlings who had originally come to Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changxing, upon hearing this news, felt a mix of envy and awe but no longer had any strong emotions or other feelings on the matter. Having been in Qingzhou Mountain for over a decade, they had gradually accepted reality and come to terms with their ordinariness. They understood that not everyone with a spiritual root stepping onto the path of immortality could achieve success in cultivation. The path of immortality was difficult, filled with countless dangers. 99% of cultivators spent their lives inconspicuously in the qi refinement realm. Now, Lu Changxing was growing farther and farther away from them. He had reached a point where they no longer compared themselves to him or discussed him on equal terms. Sometimes they would reminisce about their initial arrival at Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changxing as a son-in-law and regret not having formed a good relationship with him. As for the discussions in Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Changxing was unaware and unconcerned. During this time, he devoted his time to accompanying his wives and concubines. Chapter 250. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan? After all, I was about to take another wife, and I needed to properly comfort the women in my harem. Also, because of the issues between the Lu family and the Chen family, I was worried about accidents, which was why I hadn't let my wives and concubines bear children for some time. Now that the storm had passed, the Lu family had returned to tranquility. I could continue to live in peace, so naturally, it was time to get busy with childbearing. In the past half a month, with Lu Changxing's continuous efforts, the concubines Xiao Yuyao and Xiao Yueru became pregnant. As for Lu Miaoyun and Chu Jinjin, Lu Changxing was taking it slow with them, thinking of letting the two women rest more and spend some time on cultivation. After all, one had given birth to 3 children for him, and the other to 4. They deserved more breaks. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. On this day, It was the day of Lu Changsheng's wedding with Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan. The ceremony was extremely grand and lively. One could say it was a celebration for the entire clan. The whole of Qingzhou Mountain was joyous, draped in colored lights, adorned with large red lanterns. Early in the morning, Lu Changxing, with the care of his two beautiful wives, Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenzhen, was adorned with a golden crown and dressed in a red groom's brocade. With a big red flower on his chest, he rode a spiritual horse, leading the wedding procession with drums and gongs to the residence of Lu Yuanding to welcome the bridal sedan. I pay my respects to my father-in-law. As soon as Lu Changxing entered the door, he saw family head Lu Yuanding and immediately dismounted to respectfully perform a salute. Changxing, Huana has a somewhat willful disposition. I hope you can be more understanding, Lu Yuanding, the family head, said with slightly red eyes, patting Lu Changxing's shoulder. Even though he was somewhat displeased that Lu Changxing had married both his daughters, he still hoped that Lu Changxing would treat his daughters well. Please rest assured, father-in-law, Lu Changxing said earnestly as he clasped his hands together. Good. Lu Yuanding nodded, and once again patted Lu Changxing's shoulder, saying, I believe in you. After a while, supported by two bridesmaids, Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan appeared. Both were dressed in phoenix crowns and rosy clouds robes, their exquisite faces veiled by the tassels hanging from the fiery red phoenix crowns, hiding their stunning visages from view. But their graceful figures, adorned in those gorgeous phoenix robes, were stunningly beautiful and dazzled all who saw them. Lu Changxing looked at the two women before him, a smile on his face, and felt a surge of pride and joy well up from within. After all, Lu Miaoge was the first fairy he had encountered in the cultivation world. A woman who had caused his heart to flutter. Back then, to him, Lu Miaoge was a woman to be admired from afar. But at this very moment, she was about to become his wife. Not just that, both Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan had middle-grade spiritual roots. They were to become his only two wives with middle-grade spiritual roots. This gave him hope that the spiritual roots of his future children could reach an even higher level. Lu Changxing stepped forward to assist the two women onto the bridal sedan. He could feel that both women had somewhat stiff palms, obviously nervous. Even Lu Miaohuan was more nervous than Lu Miaoge. This brought a smile to Lu Changxing's face, and he gently pinched the tender palm of this second young miss. After sending the two women into the bridal sedan, Lu Changxing mounted his horse and led the wedding procession grandly back. Since both families resided within Qingzhou Valley, the procession circled the entirety of Qingzhou Mountain, much like the time he had married Lu Miaoyun. I still remember when Lu Changxing married Sister Miaoyun. Who would have thought he'd be marrying both Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan today? Yes, I still remember Lu Changxing from 10 years ago, when he came to our Lu family as an immortal seedling. In 10 years, from a son-in-law taken in through marriage to a top-notch talisman master, marrying Miaoyun as well as Miaoge and Miaohuan, he's reached the peak of life. Everyone makes their own choices. Lu Changxing's way of life, I suppose, leaves him with no regrets. 10 years, how many decades does one have in a lifetime? In 10 years, Lu Changxing went from a son-in-law to this point, yet over my 10 years, Many people, looking at Lu Changxing riding atop the spiritual horse with a face full of pride and satisfaction, couldn't help but feel touched and introspective. Over the past decade, most of the Lu family disciples had also come to accept Lu Changxing. But remembering how Lu Changxing had arrived at Qingzhou Mountain as a son-in-law years ago, it felt like a lifetime had passed, a feeling that made them sigh with emotion. Thus, Lu Changxing, riding his spiritual horse, leading the bridal sedan and the wedding procession, made a full circuit around Qingzhou Mountain and arrived at the Qingzhou Grand Hall. The Qingzhou Grand Hall was originally the central hall for the Lu family's meetings. It was in consideration of the Lu family ancestor personally overseeing the wedding ceremony and the face of the family head Lu Yuanding that this place was chosen for the wedding. For this wedding, even the normally plain hall had been decorated sumptuously. Lu Changxing dismounted and escorted the two brides, each in their phoenix crown and rosy clouds robes, from the bridal sedan. Together, they held a red silk ribbon and entered the great hall. To the sound of harmonious music, the three of them entered the main chamber. Familiar faces met their gaze. The Lu family ancestor sat in the main seat, wearing a smile, personally presiding over the wedding. Lu Yuanding and the fourth elder sat nearby, serving as the elders from both sides. Begin the ceremony and exchange vows. The Lu family ancestor's voice bellowed clearly. Thereupon, Lu Changxing, along with Lu Miaoge and Miaohuan, came before Lu Yuanding and the fourth elder. First salute to heaven and earth. Second salute to the high hall. Couple bow to each other. Under the witness of the Lu family's high-ranking members, Lu Changxing and the Miaoge sisters completed the ceremony and exchanged vows. Following was the procession to the bridal chamber. However, after taking the two women to the bridal chamber, Lu Changxing still had to return to receive guests. Changxing, I once told you that as my son-in-law, you should treat Qingzhou Mountain as your own home, but now I have something more to say to you. Chapter 251. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan? Under Scar 5 at this moment, the Lu family ancestor, with his somewhat clouded eyes, looked at Lu Changxing and spoke in a gentle voice. Ancestor, please speak. Lu Changxing said respectfully upon hearing this. I know you have your own opportunities and secrets, which is why I've always been guarded. But I hope you remember one thing. You are the son-in-law of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. We are one family, so Qingzhou Mountain is your support. You are not alone. If there's anything, you can always talk to me. The Lu family ancestor spoke, his elderly voice exceedingly gentle, like that of an ordinary senior teaching his junior. Lu Changxing's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this. He could feel the sincerity in the words. He could tell that now the Lu family ancestor was exuding an aura of death. He knew that the battle at Red Leaf Valley had taken a toll on the already limited years of the Lu family ancestor. Whether it was the previous rewards, the matchmaking, or now these words, there was an undeniable element of coaxing, hoping that he would stay with the Lu family. But regardless, the old man's actions and words touched his heart deeply. The young one understands. Please be at ease, ancestor. As long as I am the son-in-law of the Lu family, I will not fail the family, Lu Changxing said to the Lu family ancestor with unwavering conviction. Now that his relationship with the Lu family had reached this stage, he naturally could not let them down. Even if he were to leave the Lu family in the future and establish his own clan, the ties with the family could not be easily severed. After all, he was not a person of heartless and ungrateful nature. He always remembered those who were kind to him in his heart. Good. The Lu family ancestor smiled upon hearing this. He patted Lu Changxing lightly and said, Go on, go to the bridal chamber, don't keep them waiting. Thank you, ancestor. Lu Changxing smiled and bowed his hand slightly. After making a quick toast, he headed to the bridal chamber. Having been through the experience several times, the bridal chamber was now familiar territory for Lu Changxing. With the maid Kuei Si attending, Lu Changxing used the jade balance beam to lift the red veils of the two brides and removed their tasseled phoenix crowns. Suddenly, two extremely beautiful faces that even phrases like national beauty and heavenly fragrance were insufficient to describe were revealed to Lu Changxing's eyes. Miaoge, who was originally ethereal and otherworldly, now had her cheeks tinted with makeup, making her fair, snowy complexion blush with a warm luster, coquettish and touching, radiant and charming, like a fairy descended to the mortal world. Chapter 252. The young lady and second miss are pregnant. _1 The next morning, Lu Changxing awoke. Looking at the two newlywed wives beside him, whose features were about 70 to 80% similar and whose sleeping faces were stunningly beautiful, the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. This too is the motivation for my diligent cultivation, he said. The heights are cold, and the path to immortality stretches endlessly. Cultivators are also human with emotions and desires. If one were to practice cultivation by casting aside all emotions and desires, and enduring nothing but arduous cultivation, even if one were to reach the pinnacle of the immortal path and live a long and plentiful life, what joy would there be? Lu Changsheng ruminated in his heart. At this moment, he experienced a feeling of enlightenment, a sense of spiritual satisfaction. It was as if his body and soul had both been sublimated. This was his Tao. The way of cultivation is manifold. Different people follow different paths. As for him, his path was to traverse amid the chaos of the mundane world. He sought to satisfy his own desires and to cultivate an unobstructed mind and a relaxed spirit. Changsheng. At this moment, Lu Maiage's eyelashes quivered as she slowly awoke, opening her clear and bright eyes. Looking at Lu Changsheng, her face revealed a trace of happiness and shyness, mixed with a faint joy. Huan is still asleep, let's sleep a bit longer, she said. Lu Changsheng, watching Lu Miaoge wake up, drew her enticingly fragrant and jade-like body into his arms. Bending his head slightly, he gazed at her fair, creamy neck and spoke softly. Now married, Lu Miaoge no longer put on the airs of an elder sister as usual. She responded with a light and nestled into Lu Changsheng's embrace. Her beautiful eyes were half opened, her lips slowly parting with breaths that tugged at the heartstrings. Huan is about to wake up, later we need to go see father, she said. The eldest mistress, noticing that Lu Changsheng's actions were becoming more intense, grabbed his hand, her hazy beautiful eyes looking towards her husband as she softly spoke. Even after the wedding night and becoming husband and wife, she tried to maintain the image of an elder sister in front of her younger sister. Hearing this, Lu Changsheng also stopped his movements. He knew the eldest mistress was shy. He had great respect for Lu Miaoge, or it could be said that this kind of thing was mutual. Immediately afterwards, Lu Miaoge got up, draped on a dignified and elegant white gossamer gown, and tidied up the clothing scattered beside the bed. Soon, Lu Miaohuan also awoke. Thinking of last night's scene, this second young mistress was even more shy than her sister Lu Miaoge. This was also because Lu Miaoge and Lu Changsheng had already had marital relations. Lu brother, I have other matters to attend to, so I won't disturb your family reunion, Hong Yi said as he got up to take his leave seeing the situation. All right, see you tomorrow, Lu Changsheng nodded and then turned to look at his wives and children. Husband, father, Jinjin, Auntie Chu. The wives and children, seeing Lu Changsheng, immediately showed the joy of a long-awaited reunion. Lu Weio and Lu Shila even rushed over to embrace Lu Changsheng. Haha. Did you miss Daddy? Seeing this, Lu Changsheng held the children and ruffled their heads, a smile also spreading across his face. We missed you. After not seeing them for over a year, the children had all grown taller. From their stature and movements, it was evident that they had a solid foundation in martial arts. Such minor improvements in martial arts also boosted Lu Changsheng's ability. However, this boost was too insignificant. For Lu Changsheng, who was cultivating the 100 Refinements treasure body art, it was almost negligible. Lan Shu, it has been hard on you all these days, Lu Changsheng said to his wives. Husband, it wasn't hard. The women shook their heads, their eyes filled with tenderness. Let's go inside. Lu Changsheng didn't linger to catch up at the entrance. He patted his eldest son, Lu Pingan, who had nearly grown as tall as his chest, and went inside with his wives and children. Now, the Lu residence had changed considerably from 1.5 years ago. The house now employed many protectors, martial masters, servants, and maids. Following Lu Lanche's instructions upon seeing Lu Changxing, the head of the household, they all respectfully paid their respects, calling out, "Old Master, Family Head." Hee. Lu Changxing couldn't help but chuckle softly. He was still getting used to this title, but in the mundane world, after establishing a family, being called Old Master was also normal. And being 28 years old, he was indeed not young anymore. After settling the children, Lu Changxing spent time with his wives and children, joyfully having a reunion meal. That night, "Lan Shu, Zir, Qingya, do you want to go back to Qingzhou Mountain for a visit?" Lu Changxing asked, embracing his wives. Sending his wives to the mundane world partly for the children's care, and partly as preparation for escape. Now that the situation of the Lu family had stabilized, if the three women wished to return to Qingzhou Mountain, he could take them back to live there on this trip. "Husband, well, just stay here with the children." All three women shook their heads. They did not necessarily want to leave Qingzhou Mountain, but they understood that with Lu Changsheng's busy affairs, rather than going back to Qingzhou Mountain, it was better to stay here. Moreover, they also knew that Lu Changxing wouldn't bring the children back with them and didn't want to be away from the children. "All right, I'll come back often whenever I have time," Lu Changxing said warmly. Xianxia called out respectfully. She couldn't remember when it started, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Her master began to enjoy standing alone, gazing into the distance. "You've come. Is there something you need?" Yun Wanshang turned her head to look at her, her stunning face revealing a gentle smile. "Master, I've disappointed you. I'm still unable to grasp the state of mind of the supreme forgetful love technique." Xianxia held out the technique in her hand and spoke softly. "Sigh." Yun Wanshang looked at her disciple who once was lively and clever, now cool and indifferent due to the supreme forgetful love technique, her beautiful eyes tranquilly impassive, and her demeanor pure and saintly, and she let out a slight sigh. "Yu, the first layer state of mind of the supreme forgetful love technique is clouds are heartless, the moon is heartless. What's your understanding of it?" Yun Wanshang asked. "Both the clouds and the moon are in the sky, yet the moon is thousands of miles away from the clouds, with no interrelation between the two. Naturally, the clouds are heartless, and so is the moon." Xianxia replied, explaining her understanding. "You're tuning in to the Wandering Hero YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,